Good evening. Today, our fellow citizens, our way of life, our very freedom came under attack in a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist acts.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for man.
Paul McCartney was killed in an automobile accident in early November 1966.
Tonight, investigators are trying to solve a bizarre mystery in Flagler County.
A number of people say they felt the ground shake today.
Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
I'm lying. At least that's what I think I wanna say tonight. I feel it when I loosen up my mind. Can't hear you when you say this is just the way it is. And so you know.
All right, welcome to the Midnight Hour. I am your host, Brandyn Chaos. Busy day today. Very, very, very busy day. We've got some great guests coming on the show this week. We've got Ryan Ross from Ryan Ross and the Youngstown Syndicate. We've got Mike Ezzo, formerly of the New Pharmacy, currently of Woodside Manor. We've also got Aly Byerly from Third Class. And, of course, the lovely Aly Byerly from, formerly of Amnesty For Astronauts. She's got a new band that she's working on right now with former Amnesty For Astronauts drummer and her boyfriend Joe Carbon. So we're going to discuss that a little bit. But I'm sure that what everybody is most looking forward to is to see exactly what Ryan Ross and Mike Ezzo have to say about this ongoing debate of cover bands versus original bands. But before we go any further, I just want to plug that song you guys just heard. That's I'm Alive by Panty Droppin' Rock Brigade out of Youngstown. Very awesome newer band. If that voice sounds familiar, it's because you all know it. That's the one and only Daniel Van Kirk, formerly of Rounding Third, Livid, Anchor Against Tragedy, and of course where he got to start was Exit 14. Those guys will be, all three of them will be live here in the studio next week on the episode, along with the Scenic Route. They will have, I'm not sure who all exactly is coming in from the Scenic Route. I think 3 of their members are coming in, so very much looking forward to next week's episode as well. And of course, Panty Droppin' Rock Brigade just played this past weekend, Saturday night. They played at Cedars in Youngstown. From what I hear, it was a fantastic show. I couldn't make it. I do apologize about that. I really want to get out and see them sometime really, really soon. And real quick, I want to thank Rock Rage Radio and After Dark with Nikki Darling for having me on the show. It was a great time. Hung out with, of course, my good friend Josh Vialta from Infinite Nueve Films. Had him in here just a few weeks ago. He was on the show, as well as the American Hilljack, John Lane, who I'm trying to get on this podcast here sometime very, very soon. He's a very interesting guy. We know a lot of the same people, so I'm sure it could be a great conversation. And, of course, Nikki Darling and Crystal Lynn, you guys were fantastic as well. I thank you guys very much for having me on the show. I had a phenomenal time, and I really can't wait to do it again. And I also want to thank everyone who listened, too. Thank you very, very much. We dropped a lot of news about Macabre Fest, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it turns out. All right, well, I'm at it with plugging future shows. I just got confirmation yesterday, which I'm very, very excited about. I'm going to drop this bomb on you guys. I already dropped it on Facebook and Twitter last night. So I'm going to let you guys know that in 2 weeks on the show, we will have Vinny Dombrowski from the band Sponge out of Detroit. So I'm very, very excited about that. For those of you who don't know, they were pretty popular in the 1990s. They had several hits, Plowed, Molly, Wax Ecstatic, Have You Seen Mary, and of course Live Here Without You. And then in recent years, they've kind of slowed down, haven't been nearly as popular, but they had a hit a few years ago called Destroy the Boy. So they're picking up a little bit of steam here, and hopefully we'll see them exploding again real soon. They've done recent tours with Everclear and I believe Soul Asylum, Verve Pipe, a few other really popular 90s bands. There's a bit of a nostalgia for 90s music right now, 90s alternative rock, and so they were huge. They were part of that scene. If you haven't heard them, I'd suggest looking them up. They're a really awesome band, and we'll have Vinny here on the phone in about 2 weeks. So look forward to that one as well. All right, we're going to kick things off right now. Let's get Ryan Ross on the phone.
I said, thank you very much, honey, what is your name? Can I buy you a drink when I come back this way? She said, if you're lucky, boy, but I ain't one to wait. All these feelings clouding my mind, and as she walked away, I heard a little voice say, tell me what you're waiting for. This could be the true love you've been looking for. When it comes knocking, gotta open the door. So tell me what you're waiting for. I was in the same place. I was praying to God that I would see your face, and when I saw that smile, I couldn't help but stare. She said, listen here, boy, you're a bit out of line, but you made it back here in the nick of time. Just feel lucky that I didn't have anything planned. And as I pulled her close and looked in her eye, I heard that little voice saying, one more time, tell me what you're waiting for. This could be the true love you've been looking for. When it comes knocking, gotta open the door. So tell me what you're waiting for. She's the kind of girl that gives you reason to believe wildflowers grow out on these streets. As I pulled her close and looked in her eye, I heard that little voice saying, one more time, tell me what you're waiting for. This could be the true love you've been looking for. When it comes knocking, gotta open the door. So tell me what you're waiting for. Tell me what you're waiting.
All right, I've got Ryan Ross on the phone. He is the frontman of Ryan Ross and the Youngstown Syndicate. How you doing today, buddy?
Good, man. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So tell me a little bit about your background. How did you get started in the local music scene?
Well, I kind of just got it started in music. You know what I mean? Like, I went to the Musicians Institute in Hollywood, California, and you know, the LA thing was just not something that was really about me or what I wanted to do. So I decided to come home, and you know, I wrote our record "Last House on the Block," which I'm sure you'll talk about. But anyway, and then I just surrounded myself with the best musicians I possibly could to play on it. Mike Bransky from the house band played on it. Chip Byers played on the record. A lot of the best in Youngstown are a part of it. So that was my plan, and then just get out and get playing. You know, everywhere. Youngstown, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Columbus, Alaska, Antarctica, I don't care, wherever. Just show out and just go play, you know? And the rest is kind of just history.
Now, how exactly did the Youngstown Syndicate get together?
Well, I mean, I made the record first, you know, and then I built the band around it. Just found guys who were, you know, just wanted to play. And I'm really excited now because the band is probably real close to being the best it's ever been with the guys that have been in it, you know? So, like, it's a situation now where I'm really excited to get back into a studio with these guys and actually use my band to record, like, the next EP or record or whatever we're going to do. So, I mean, it was just, you know, Bill Nelson, my drummer, I met him during the recording process. He recorded our first song, and he's been in the band ever since. You know, Adam Shutkick's my right-hand man, my guitar player. He just kind of came on, and it just became something that was, you know, he just wanted to be a part of it and became a huge part of it. I don't know if I could do it without him. And then we got Colin Schott, who was actually just a kid that I knew from town that played guitar, actually, but, like, you know, he was a pretty instrumental guy. Like, he knew music pretty well, so he switched to bass. And then just recently we got a kid named Nick Frank who has played Hold No Breath in Youngstown, and he's just a kid. He's 19, but he's a monster too. So I feel like I'm really surrounded by the best team I've had probably since the band came out. And you know, it's just the point now where we have this record's already a year old coming up here, and so now it's going to be exciting to see what we can do with them.
So what's the next step? Do you plan on recording again real soon?
Yeah, we're going to get out of town, I think. We're going to play, we're trying to say goodbye to Youngstown for a while. You know, I mean, I feel like, I mean, you read all the posts on that Facebook and stuff like that, and there's just a lot of people in town that just are yelling at each other, and, you know, I try not to get involved with it, but sometimes you just have to, and it's like, you know, we're trying to get out of Youngstown. You know, being the biggest band in Youngstown is great. We want to be the biggest band from Youngstown ever. you know, and that's kind of our mentality. So we're probably going to go out to Indiana. We're playing out there. We actually leave on next Thursday. We're going to be 4 days out there, and then, you know, there's all kinds of stuff in the works, a lot of stuff we're playing. A lot of it's money, too, though, you know, I mean, it's a game, but it's also a business. So, you know, what we would like to do and what we can do, we're just trying to get those two things on the same page a little bit.
You've been somewhat vocal in the whole argument of cover bands versus original bands. You haven't been as vocal as some other people. I didn't get a chance to read like some of the newest stuff that was posted recently, but what's your take on that whole argument?
I'm gonna settle this once and for all as how Ryan Ross and the Youngstown Syndicate feels about cover bands. We have no quarrel with cover bands. I have none whatsoever. I think anybody who plays music and they want to play music, that's fine. However, my problem comes when people walk around in cover bands like they're actually Motley Crue, you know, or Bon Jovi or Poison or whoever. It's like, you know, it's one thing to play other people's music and then, you know, and then mimic their image to a point where, you know, you kind of get wrapped up in the delusion of being them. And it's another thing to just play people's music and have fun doing it. And I think that so long as, you know, the ones that I always have had quarrel with are the ones that take themselves too seriously. And, it's just a frustrating thing for me because, you know, I didn't get into this for any of that stuff. You know what I mean? I don't need to be famous. I don't need any of that. And the fact that, like, you know, your integrity to the craft and what I've chosen to play music with my life. This isn't my weekend hobby. You know, like I play, you know, I did 149 dates last year. You know, I mean, this is how I make my money. This is how I keep electricity on. Keep the phone calls from coming. You know, and like when you disrespect the integrity of that is where I have an issue with it. But that's as far as it goes. You know what I mean? Like I have no quarrel with people playing covers. Go make your money playing covers. That's great. You know what I mean? Like I don't care. It's just the fact that when you walk around with this holier than thou attitude, you know, you got to understand that most of the people are coming to these bars to hear the songs you're playing, not the band that's playing them. So,
see, and I don't see a whole lot of that in Youngstown. I've seen it from some of these tribute acts that tour nationally. Yeah, like they think they're Aerosmith or they think they're Led Zeppelin, but I don't see a whole lot of that in town.
Well, I don't think it's on that big of a level, but like, you know, like original bands and cover bands, you know, it's the war is old as time, you know, I mean, you know, no one wants to play original bands because original bands, probably 90% of original bands can't fill bars. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that's just my opinion, you know? And like, I've said this before in different things, you know, it's like, I can cook a hamburger on the grill, but I wouldn't call myself a chef. You understand what I mean? And like, absolutely. I wouldn't, and like, you know, a lot of times just because you write a bunch of songs and you want to be an original band, and don't get pissed off if other people don't like them. You know, I mean, you know, you're supposed to be doing that for you anyway, you know? And then, you know, everybody wants to be compensated. You know, go earn your money.
Exactly.
You know, like, go earn it. Go play for a door. Go play for, I don't know, go play for a bar that's going to give you a slide on how much the money's going to go. You know, go in for the lowest rate you can and then hope that it gets better to where they'll give you more. And 90% of bars will work with you that way to a point now where both the Youngstown Syndicate and myself both get guarantees everywhere we go. You know, but we did that working with bar owners. You know, it's not hard.
And I think, you know, all of us as musicians, we've done free shows. We've done tons of free shows.
Yeah, I play for free when I feel like it. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't take a whole lot for me to give something away, charity-wise, just because that's who I am as a person. But yeah, I mean, like, you know, free has got to be to the discretion of the artist. You know what I mean? Like, I think the artists get pissed off when people like bar owners assume that you're going to play it for free.
Yeah.
You know, that's where I think they get mad. But like, I think that like we have a benefit we're going to do. I think the 13th or whatever of February for my friend who's a cricket who just got diagnosed with breast cancer. Of course, I'm going to play that for free because you know what? She's put dollars in my tip cup every time I played there all summer. Do you understand what I mean? Like, you got to give it back.
Yeah.
It's just a situation that if you want people to take you seriously, you can't always do it for free.
Yeah, and, you know, I do Macabre Fest. This will be our second year. And the bands are donating their time to do this. And, you know, this year we're expecting, you know, at least 1,000 people, especially with how big it's going to be. And there's no admission to get in. So the bands are donating their time. They're doing it for exposure, basically. And I see nothing wrong with that because I'm not making money off of it. When I did this last year, I actually lost money on it, but it gave the bands an opportunity to play in front of people that they wouldn't have normally played in front of.
Yeah, I know. I mean, like I said, I kind of gotten to a point where the last little 6 months of this whole thing here for me, where I'm just done with it, dude. I'm just done. I'm done. I'm done with the music scene drama. I'm just gonna Ryan Ross and the Lifetime Syndicate's just gonna stick to what we do, and we're gonna have people who love us for it, and we're gonna have people who don't, and we can understand that we're mature adults enough to understand and get that point. You know what I mean? Like these guys can yell at themselves and they can bitch about bar owners and they can bitch about not making money, but we are. So it's like I don't know what to say. You understand what I mean? Like, call me an asshole. It's fine, but you know what? I don't have to do anything else. So until I have to, I'm just going to keep going my way and let those call us or say what they want, because in the game I'm playing, I feel like I'm winning. So.
You guys tend to keep to yourselves anyways. You guys don't get involved in a lot of the drama, and that probably is to your benefit, really.
Well, I'm a big Muhammad Ali fan. You know what I mean? And I'll instigate something if I feel there needs to be hype brought to it. But on an overall, let's just post. How many people how many of these people post the stuff on Facebook where it's like, okay. I make a joke sometimes. I'll write, okay, I'm going to write something random just to get 100 comments. You know what I mean? And they're just fishing for attention. And I'm the biggest attention whore on earth. You know me well enough. But I want my attention to be for positive things, such as, for our band being professional, for not showing up drunk to shows, for not blowing bar tabs. Not, you know what I mean? I want to be professional for what it is, how I was taught to be as a professional in anything. I just chose music,
And you mentioned Crickets a little bit ago. I know you frequent there. What's going on with their situation right now?
Nothing. It's all over. It was a vendetta based on some drainage issues with their driveway going into somebody's yard. It has all been addressed and resolved and taken care of. Crickets is absolutely the best local band bar in Youngstown. It really is. They take such good care of everybody. I mean, it's just, and they, they'll pay and give everyone a chance, and that's what I appreciate most about them. Wasn't
there also an issue though with noise ordinance in that area?
No. That's just what the lady used to get everyone all riled up. Okay. There's no noise issue there. Yeah, the cops. See, that's the thing. The council kind of looked and they said, "Hey, we can't send this to Columbus because we're going to look like fools. They've never had a violation."
Yeah.
So, it's just all typical media stuff. You know how it goes.
And, I live close to there. I live over in Struthers, and
right.
I don't notice any noise issues with any of the bars over in that area, so I don't know.
No, it's just someone complaining, man. That's all it was.
Yeah, that's a shame because, Crickets is one of those places that supports the local scene, and it's a shame to see somebody try to
Well, it's over now. It's over now. So we'll see how the summer goes. They're going to close down the patio a little bit, close it off so the noise doesn't travel as far. And then, so, hopefully they can make whoever needs to be happy, and they can just kind of let things be.
So let's talk a little bit about the band. What are some of your biggest musical influences? What's influenced the music that you've made? New
Jersey.
What's that?
The whole damn state of New Jersey.
Okay.
I love Bon Jovi. I mean, Springsteen was my mom's favorite, so I grew up with that stuff, and that's very obvious in my whole thing.
I definitely hear a lot of Springsteen when I listen to the Y-Town Syndicate, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the Y-Town Syndicate per se, the live performance is 100% East Street based. You know what I mean? Like the way we do it, the attitude that we attack it with. I mean, it's realistically it's a sprint from the first song to the last song. And that always kind of is our mentality, is to just continue to play hard and continue to be moving and doing things that way. And I think that the Y-Town Syndicate East Street thing is probably more in the live show, I think, than probably the record. The record's probably more Bon Jovi based, or I would say Bryan Adams or something like that, because in my songwriting, that's where I kind of came from. I'm a big Richie Sambora fan and all those guys. So I think that when you see it live, it comes across one way more than it really is. But then again, too, that's probably how I sell it, being the frontman. So again, it's probably all my fault.
Who are some of your favorite bands in the area?
Bands in the area. Well, I like. Here you go. I'm gonna go straight off the jump. I love the house band. They're my guys. They're good friends.
They've been around forever too.
Oh yeah, they're great.
Great band.
I like the house band a lot. I really like Full Moon Canoe. Their new thing it's a work in progress, but it's coming. They're gonna be back swinging. I like them a lot. They were cool. I like the Hawkeyes a lot. They're from Pittsburgh. They're probably my favorite right now, but they play up here semi-frequently. So.
I've seen them once. They're really good.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. Me and Jay are pretty tight, so I like them a lot. We played with Amnesty. We played with River Zone's a band we played with a lot. There's a lot of kids that are playing. That's why I think it's frustrating when you read those Facebook posts about you not supporting the scene. I'm not supporting the scene. I did 149 dates last year. That doesn't leave me a lot of time to go out and see other bands. And truth be told, on the days that I'm off, I have a hard time going to bars anymore. You know what I mean? Just to hang out, you know what I mean? So sometimes it's hard, but I've let a lot of students of mine, because I teach guitar at Modders Music. I let a lot of my students come up and play, and their first gig was my show. You know what I mean? And do stuff like that. So it pisses me off because a lot of people don't know anything about what we are actually doing, but want to come out and the first thing they say is, "I've been to 4 of your shows and you haven't been to any of mine." Well, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. And there's probably some of this stuff, too, is that, a lot of times, a lot of these people play music that's a lot louder than what I play. You know what I mean? And it's just stylistically stuff that's just not my thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can't see you hanging out at a Woodside Manor show. It seems like it's a little bit heavier than what you're into. But you still support them, though,
100%. Listen, dude, I want everybody to win. Nobody wins unless everybody does. But the thing about it is, for me, is I don't have a lot of time to overly concern myself on what they're doing to win. I'm pretty good friends with some restaurant owners in town. I've been blessed, to just surround myself with people that make me want to be better. And I really appreciate that. And one of them owned a restaurant up by the Lube when it opened, and I asked him, I was like, "You worried about the Lube coming in here? Because there are wings and chicken and sports bar and all that stuff too." And he's like, "Not at all." I'm like, "Really?" He goes, "No, I focus on what I do. I'm not going to concern myself with what other people do. And if I make the best that I can make, then there's enough room for all of us." And that's kind of my opinion too. I want everyone to be successful. I wasn't a huge fan of the YMAs because I just thought I think that their intention was good, but their execution was poor. But we got nominated for one. I didn't turn one down. I don't hate on people. I don't really understand where that comes across, that that's my attitude. You know what I mean? I want everyone to win. It just is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, and the execution is something that could be improved on in future years, I've talked to Kermit, and he's got some great ideas for what he wants to do with the future.
Well, I don't know. Like I said, I think that I didn't care about winning a YMA last year, and I just don't know if it's just something that's on my priority list this year either. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get out of Youngstown, bro. I'm trying to get the Youngstown Syndicate on a more regional level. We're trying to, and it's damn near impossible.
Yeah.
Because, how many emails do you send out that no one calls back or whatever? So, right now my priorities aren't on Youngstown bullshit. And I'm sorry that it comes across that way, and I'm sorry that it sounds negative, but it's really not. I haven't even seen how many, my phone keeps buzzing in my ears. I'm sure there's notifications going up like crazy, but I'm just not in a situation where it's something that I concern myself with. I want to write another record. You know what I mean? There were some things that happened, personally that were just more important than music in the last 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
Not even just other people supporting the scene, like us, as a band. We had some personal things happen, and and that's all got resolved. And for me, it's just that right now, it's just, I'm over 30. I'm blessed to play music, but I don't know if I can do this forever. So this is it. This is my shot. This has got to get us to the next point. Just like the last record got us to this point. It's got to continue to progress that way. And I think that if I go back and continue to comment on past conversations that are over, then am I really moving forward?
Yeah, and
that's my thought.
The future is really what you have to focus on, and you have to focus on your future as a musician and the future for your band as well.
Right. And, and that's really where it comes down to, those cats, and, and the thing about it is that, people are like, oh, I've known signed people, I've known people that made it, but they didn't make it. You understand what I mean? They didn't. You know what I mean? So why am I going to sit here and listen to a lot of things other people did that didn't make it? I'm going to just go and try and make it on my own steam and do it my own way. I hear it, I watch it, I see. But if what they were doing worked, they'd be on the radio, they'd be signing, on whatever channel shows videos anymore. But they're not. They're broke up. They're nothing. They're a broken pencil in study hall. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
It's gone.
And it's
over.
unfortunate. It's unfortunate because they were talented musicians and still are talented musicians. And
whatever, man.
Yeah,
there's a lot of talent.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was privileged enough to meet Lee Bryce this summer. And he told me, he was like, look, dude, here's something you got to realize. Very, very thin. So everybody's good. And sometimes the best musicians don't make it. And, that's the way it goes. So, as good a musicians as they were, Tom Brady's a good quarterback, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's destined to win the Super Bowl someday.
Exactly.
I don't know if we're destined to do it, dude. I don't have an answer for that. I'm just saying that, but right now, I just continue to move forward and continue to push, because that's all I know how to do.
So you mentioned you have some shows coming up. You said you're going to be venturing out into Indiana. Any other places you plan on tackling here real soon?
No, not in the next little bit here. We're playing probably in the springtime for sure. See, a couple of my kids still go to school. So, as far as me, I'm playing tonight at Crickets. I'm playing Wednesday at Jack's Bar and Grill in Howland, and I play Saturday at that Rust Belt Brew Pub. And then the band plays. The band leaves for We're playing at Monty's at Anderson, and another bar somewhere else in Indiana. I'm not 100% sure of the city. Adam booked it for us, but and then we're probably going to take some time off and just learn some new material.
Are you still there?
You there? Can you hear me?
Hey, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me? Brandon.
Hello? Hey, can you hear me? I think his phone dropped off. Okay. Your phone dropped off there.
Yeah, no, I know. I don't know what happened, but
That's okay.
But yeah, no. So then the band we're gonna play, we're playing out in Indiana, and then we're gonna play at St. Baldrick's over O'Donnell's on St. Patty's Day, which will be a great time.
Well, I'll be there getting my head shaved.
Right on. I can't shave my head. I'm afraid I won't be able to play guitar no more.
I'm afraid mine won't grow back.
Yeah, right.
I'm getting to that
But
age.
yeah, like I said, man, it's just like everything else, dude. I'm just really focused on us, and I probably should take down every post I put on that thing, but it's just to a point where just go play, people. That's what I did. And I know you can love it or hate it, dude, but math doesn't lie. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And if I'm doing 149 dates, what's the most any of those bands are doing? So if you want to be doing 149 dates and you're not, from somebody who has done that, I'm telling you, it's your own fault. Because you're looking for something to be given to you. You're looking for some, you know what I mean? Play for free when you have to, don't forsake, don't get pissy over $50 now and forsake me in 153 months from now. You know what I mean? Don't get greedy and just be professional and go out and play. It's the best advice I got,
Now, you said you guys are planning on writing a new record soon, right?
Yeah. I got about 4 songs done. We're going to do an EP, and then we're going to come out with another record, hopefully. The EP hopefully will be done by the end of the year, and then the record I will hopefully be writing, and will be, or by the end of summer, and hopefully we'll be started on the record by the end of the year. That's the plan.
What can we expect from the new record? Is there going to be a different sound?
The new EP probably will be a little bit closer to where we are still, but like the new record, yeah, I've been into a lot of bands with a lot of street rock, and you know, and like I got a Hip to the Gaslight anthem. I really like them.
Yeah, they're a good band for sure.
Just darker. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, part of my whole thing is how much, like, you know, I believe the good guys are going to win, but like, there's also a part of me now that's thinking maybe they're not winning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just a situation where I think it's going to be different, but hopefully it'll be around the same vein, because I mean, I am who I am, and you know, they are who they are. So I mean, I'm the primary writer, so whatever I guess I'm going through is what the band sounds like. So
that's good. I really look forward to the new album.
Oh, I appreciate it, Brandon. I appreciate what you're doing too, man. Like, I'm glad we got to make this happen today. You know. So.
Yeah, me too. I do have to wrap things up though.
Sure.
I really appreciate you coming on the show, man. Even though we kind of got a late start on this.
Hey, man, better late than never, right?
Exactly.
All right, man. God bless you, brother. Thank you for everything, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you later.
All right, man. God bless.
All right.
Bye bye.
With the weight of the world pushing down, confusion and distortion all around, I can't tell you what's right. And if you plan to make the big escape, you don't know which path to take. There's no reason to try to run very far, 'cause they'll tell you they need you. They'll say you're not like the rest, confuse and deceive you as they love you to death. With every little opportunity, with everything that you do, they screw you till you can't move. They keep tacking on the interest you owe. You'll have to pay to your grave. Well, you should have saved. And they tell you they need you. They say you're not like the rest, constricting to squeeze you and force out your last breath.
And that is exactly why I like Ryan Ross. Likes to stay out of the drama, even though I got involved in some of that drama myself. If you want to check out some cool live music, Zero Set Memory will be playing at the Empire Concert Club in Akron. That's next Tuesday, February 3rd, with Cancer Slug. I guess either Doyle from the Misfits plays with them, or they used to be his backing band or something, but from what I hear, Cancer Slug is a pretty brutal band, so if you want to go check them out, go check them out. It should be a good time. And of course, I had Dean Seifert Jr. from Zero Set Memory on the show not last week, but the week before. They also played this past Friday with Baroque Monody and Pilot the Mind at Cedars West End in Youngstown. And Friday, February 6th, that'll be next Friday, not this Friday, but next Friday. Perfect Pair will be down at Crickets over there on the south side as you're heading into Struthers on Midlothian Boulevard. According to their ad, they'll play anything from James Taylor to Cannibal Corpse, and that is no joke. If they don't currently have it in their song library, Michael Kermick will learn it on the spot, and Ashley will just look up the lyrics online and just sing it for you right then and there. They take requests all night long, and they're always a good fun time. They're playing at Crickets on February 6th from 10 to 1. And as you heard Ryan Ross and I discuss crickets, it's a great place, great atmosphere. People there are very supportive of the local music scene. So, so 2 great shows next week to go check out. And maybe I'll see you guys out at the Perfect Pair show. I think I'm going to stop out for that one. And even if you don't like the music, Michael Kermick and Ashley Miller are both very easy on the eyes. And they like to wear tight pants, so that should be fun too. All right, and don't forget, you can catch us on social media at Brandyn Chaos, or at Brandyn_Chaos on Twitter and Instagram. And also Brandyn Chaos on Facebook. Also on Facebook, look up Chaos Culture Entertainment, Macabre Fest, and The Midnight Hour with Brandyn Chaos. All on Facebook. All right, and before we go into this next segment, just a little recap. Last week we had Michael Kermick here, and we discussed what's been going around with the local music scene and the Youngstown Music Awards and cover bands versus original bands. Also discussed that a few weeks before that with Hollywood. And so coming up now we have Mike Ezzo from Woodside Manor, formerly of the New Pharmacy and Urbane. And he's gonna really discuss sort of the same stuff that Hollywood did, maybe probably go into a little more detail, maybe give his spin of the whole thing. He recently sparked a bit of a debate on Facebook with the whole cover band versus original band. So really interested to hear what he has to say about the whole thing. So let's get Mike Ezzo on the phone.
On your face only has a shame. So why did it take so much time to know? Where do we go when our doors have closed? When none of the friends ever sing their own side. To the name, she absorbs my pain. No plunge to the stick, so enjoy the show. Your person's change can control your rage. No sense to hide your reward. There's a bird on the liquid life that's gotta fall. When you enter me, you're killing me, you're killing me.
All right, I've got Mike Ezzo on the phone. He is the drummer for Woodside Manor. How you doing today, Mike?
I'm doing fantastic.
Well, that's good, man. You're stirring things up a little bit today.
I guess so. Seems that way.
So let's get started with that. What is your take on the the controversy between cover bands and original bands?
Well, let me clarify first that this isn't about separating the two genres, because I want people to know that since I was 15, I've done professional music. I mean, my first band, I toured with a Christian rock band. I've gotten called to do a million things as a drummer on all different types of music. So I've even done covers. You know, I have no problems with cover bands at all, and guys making some money and doing their thing. And I don't want to separate that, because music is a gift, I think. You know, and it's good no matter who does it, where it happens, and how it happens. It's a great thing to have in people's lives, period. So I don't want to separate, you know, cover bands and original bands at all. But my whole take started with a conversation. It started really as a simple conversation between me and Hollywood and a couple of the promoters and a couple of bar owners that were really just kind of fed up. And, without disrespecting anybody, it kind of started with the Youngstown Music Awards too. Basically, it was really a simple conversation that just turned into this big, huge thing, and it just blew out of control, I guess. So my whole take on it is, I mean, it's great to have it. It's publicity for the music scene, and I really don't want to separate anyone. I want to bring back the scene in Youngstown. That's what it's about, is bringing back the scene as a whole. And this has become a cover band town, and that creates lack of opportunity for anyone. If you want to go out and make a few bucks, that's great, and that's the town to do it in. But if you want to do something and bring music to the rest of the world, you can't do that being in the cover band. And that's killing our scene, as well as the promoters. A lot of the promoters are killing our scene too. They want everybody to play for free, and they want to make money. And, I understand a lot goes into it, but there are some really good guys out there. I'm not just doing this basically categorizing one person or calling one person out. This is just in general. So, I mean, that's kind of how it all started.
So, yeah, you have nothing against cover bands.
Not at all. No, in fact, I've done cover bands. I have no issues with cover bands at all. In fact, it's great. Like, I'm married, so my wife, when we go out, sure, we want to go see a cover band and just hang out. And, but when I'm with my guys and I'm doing the music thing and I'm getting into the business part of it, I really want to go see original bands and take care of that aspect of it.
And I've noticed since Woodside Manor has been playing out, you guys haven't done any in-town shows, right?
No, we've done the only closest show we've done was in Salem, and that was for the Sony rep that was supposed to be having material sent to him. So that's the only local show we've done. And I want people to understand where I'm coming from on this, and I'm not just some Joe Schmo guy that's in an original band. I'm calling everybody out. I've done a ton of stuff in this area that people don't even know about because I'm a drummer. I'm kind of an underground, behind the scenes kind of guy, so I'm not really. You don't hear a lot about me, but, say like Vex Fest, the biggest joke of Vex Fest at the meetings the past couple years was, Ezzo, what kind of band you playing in this year? How many bands you playing with? That's become a joke because I don't limit myself.
Yeah.
And I don't want to, I'm not calling anybody out saying that you shouldn't be doing this or you shouldn't be doing that. Music is great, and it's a great healing thing. It saved me in a lot of ways, and I think it's a very healing spiritual gift. So anybody that does it in any form or fashion, I'm very much all for.
Now, I didn't know who you were until you played with the New Pharmacy. Give me a little bit of background of what you did before you were in the New Pharmacy.
Well, I was 15 years old, and my dad
you're
started
50?
playing. No, when I was 15.
Oh, I thought you said you're 50. I'm like, dude, you're not 50.
Pretty close, but I'm not allowed to say that. The guys in the band get mad. I'm actually I'm 40. I'm pushing 45, so.
Oh, wow.
I stayed pretty healthy for my age, but yeah, I'm up there. So I'm a seasoned, experienced guy. I'm not just some, garage band dude calling everybody out and being ticked off about stuff.
Yeah.
I've been around long enough to see the scene, how it's developed and what's going on. So, I mean, basically, I started out when I was 15. My dad played when he was younger, and he had a drum set, and I just kicked around on it. Well, when I was 15, I started doing stuff for high school. I was in the choir and stuff, but I ended up playing drums for a lot of the plays just on the side. I was never really an educated musician. I just did it for fun because, I mean, I would jam on my drum set for like 2 hours in the basement every day, just playing to other people's music. And that's how my timing was. And I just loved hitting the drums, man. I just loved playing it. It just gave me a great feeling. So my dad saw an ad in the paper for a band looking for a drummer. I mean, they were all older guys, you know, in their 20s. I was only 15. I auditioned. I got the gig. And next thing you know, we were touring as a Christian rock band back then. All original, very successful. Did a lot of radio stuff all over the world, actually, for that genre. And
are you able to say the name of the band? Because I used to work at a Christian radio station.
The band was originally Countdown.
Okay, I've definitely heard that name before.
Yeah, so I mean, we went as Countdown. We had a huge thing, and it was actually we were very successful for that time and that type of music. That was a big scene back then. So. We did a lot of really successful things, and I did that for probably about 6 years or so. And then the band disbanded. We had issues with one guy, which is always the case in a band. You have one guy that doesn't see the entire vision or does something stupid, and you know, I did studio work. Me and the guitar player did studio work for about 10 years. So we got free studio sessions just doing side work, and then if somebody came in that needed recordings, I would play for them. So I got a lot of experience doing that, and then. Basically after that, I worked with a guy who had a demo of a band he was working with in his basement, and I thought they were fantastic. And I kept trying to get them to give me the CD to play drums on it. And they finally had a practice one day and just come over and jam. And next thing you know, we were a band 18 months later. We had radio sponsorship. We had 3 major record labels saying, if you get down here today, we'll sign you. You have 2 songs in the top 10.
Wow.
And it exploded. Yeah, I mean, it was a band called Urbane.
Okay, I remember them.
Yeah, I mean, we had probably the biggest CD release show around here. It was 1,600 people, and we made $4,000 on it.
Was that at that show? Was that at Jillian's?
That was at Jillian's.
I was there. I remember that.
Yeah, and guess what? That was all original music.
Yeah.
So I mean, and then I did that, and then after that, we had the guys in the band were young, and they kind of made some bad decisions, went their own way. And I saw the dream, and I saw I got a little taste of the limelight and saying, hey, this could be a really good business. I can make a lot of money doing this. And if I just find the right guys with the right mindset, with the right business sense, we can make original music happen here and put Youngstown on the map. You know, I really want to bring a name to the town.
And there's a lot of great bands in this area. A lot of them. Original bands and cover bands.
There's a ton. And, with this whole conversation that's going on Facebook, and I love it, by the way, but this whole conversation and this whole thing, I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea that I'm really ticked off about stuff or anything like that. This is a really good conversation topic, and it's bringing light to what's happening in our community here musically. And like you said, there's like Jones for Revival. It's not music that I would play every day, but I love it. It's fantastic.
And those guys tour all over the place, too.
Oh, they do great things for music. The house band. I'm friends with those guys. I've jammed with those guys. Gary Polisco in Huck and Philbilly. I've played with him. I mean, I've done stuff probably with almost every musician in the area. I've either sat in with, come across, played with, or done something with. So, I mean, it's just a matter of working together and being part of a community of musicians.
How did you get involved with the new pharmacy?
Let's see. I did a band with Chin and Adam, and we were in KO8 together. Actually, I got called. I didn't even know Chin or Adam at the time. I knew Bob Boak, and he was a fantastic, probably one of the best bass players I know.
Oh, yeah, easily.
There's 4 guys in town that I consider probably the best bass players in town.
Bob and Shane are probably at the top of that list.
Shane Alilla is definitely top of the list. Pat Lane, I think he's fantastic. My bass for metal guitarist, John Makovic, for what he does, I think he's really good.
Oh, yeah.
There's a few other guys. I mean, there's tons of musicians here. But basically, I was doing stuff with Bob Boak in the basement, learning 6 or 7 songs just from his bass lines. He said, I need a drummer to play studio work for us. Chin and Adam are coming in town. And can you do it? And I said, oh, come over and jam. We'll see what happens. Well, I ended up learning songs just from the bass line. And they came to town. I went to the studio with them. I learned 5 more songs in the studio. And mind you, I've never played odd meter stuff until then, especially recorded it. So I guess I did a pretty good job, and they wanted me to join the band, so we became KOA. And that's how I came across that. Well, my affiliations with Chin and Adam, I guess they weren't dead to me, and I didn't really know Hollywood. And I met them at Cedars. I was going to support a local show that was all original music, and they were saying, hey, your name's been floating around a lot, start learning our stuff. So I did, and next thing you know, I'm getting called to play for New Pharmacy, and that was the first band that I was just able to jump in and play. I didn't really join the band yet because I was doing 5 other projects at the time.
Yeah.
I had a 3-piece band that I was playing with and getting paid for. And like I said, this is a 3-piece band that was all original, but I was getting called from all the clubs around here to play and get paid. So I did it with original music once again.
You want to know what's funny, too, about you joining the New Pharmacy? The guy that you replaced on drums is actually my cousin.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Jim?
Yep, that's my cousin.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been across him a few times at shows, and we've talked and done some stuff, and I keep a really good repertoire with a lot of guys. I don't burn any bridges, and I try not to piss too many people off, so.
Yeah, he's a hell of a drummer. He's crazy, like most drummers are.
Yeah, I really like Jim. We have different styles. He's a lot of footwork guy. He's really he really does a lot with his feet, and I'm more of I was kind of raised on Portnoy and Neil Peart and stuff like that, and Steve Smith from Journey. I incorporate a lot of that into my music with my hands and stuff. So different styles, but very good. I have a lot of respect for him.
So tell me how Woodside Manor got together.
Well, once again, one guy in the band does something that kind of ruins the whole big picture for somebody, and we had one of those guys in New Pharmacy that made some bad choices.
Yeah.
And at the time, we were getting looked at by Sony, and we also had a independent label in Cleveland Standby wanting us to work with them. So it was just really bad timing. And me being older, and I kind of try to keep a good business sense as far as the industry goes. I tried to keep in contact with those people, and I made a few phone calls. I had handpicked a couple guys that I knew for sure that I really wanted to work with, and they jumped on board. Jeremy Babel from X3, fantastic guitar player. I ran across him by doing I got called to come in and just play on a song. They were having issues with their drummer, and that's how I met him, but I only played with him once. So I called him, he came over, man, we just hit it off right away. He was a fantastic writer, really good guy all the way around. He was on board right away. Shane from New Pharmacy was involved, but then his style was going in a different direction. He wanted to do some solo stuff, so we called a heavier player, which fit really well with our style. And I called Chin back from New Pharmacy. I said, if you want to be on it, you got to keep all your ducks in a row and let's make this happen. And everybody just clicked, and it's a pretty well-oiled machine right now. It's a bunch of older guys that are really responsible, that have a really good sense of what direction we're going in, and really have a good sense for the business. And I think they really believe that we're going to make this happen. So that's how it happened. It's kind of my baby, but then everybody, it's probably the first band I've been in where everybody works for the band. Like, everybody's doing something to make this successful.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah. It's not just one guy, one guy being lazy. It's only a 4-piece band, but it carries its own weight, and we're very progressive, and we're pretty serious about what we're doing. So
now, Jeremy was playing in New Diaries at the time that he joined Woodside Manor, and he ended up leaving New Diaries. Is there any bad blood between you guys and New Diaries?
No, I don't think so. I mean, not with any of the other guys. Aiden actually auditioned for a band I was in called One Bad Mother a couple of years ago, but he didn't really, fit what we were doing. So I don't know if he has any bad blood or not, but he gave us props on their last show. So I don't think there's any bad blood between us and anybody. So we try to keep it that way. Keep it light. We try to support other musicians, and that's one thing Woodside Manor is really big on. We're like, man, if you could do an all local show or all original show, you better stick around and support all the other bands.
Oh yeah.
Pay your dues.
Who are some of the other bands in the area that you really like?
I love Hoss and the Juggernauts.
Oh, I love them. They're awesome.
It's not what I play, but see, just because I play a certain style doesn't mean I don't enjoy and appreciate other styles, because I love playing funk and blues.
Yeah.
I actually jammed with Hoss last week at a show. We just jumped in with the Aunt Esther. We sat up and played together.
Nice. And Roger Lewis is a hell of a drummer.
Oh, yeah, I love Roger, too. He's one of my favorite
amazing.
drummers in town.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I love Hoss. I love, Metal Mafia those are my dudes. Bob's really helped launch Woodside Manor.
Yeah, Bob's a good guy.
A lot. He's probably the hardest working musician I know. Let's see, I don't know. Joe's Revival, I really enjoy seeing them all the time. And then there's all kinds of bands I really just go and see all the time. I mean, I just check everyone out.
And you were just out this past weekend, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who did you see while you were out this weekend?
We saw Paco's band. I don't know who he's playing with now, but we saw Paco's band.
Oh, he's Pilot the Mind.
Pilot the Mind, yeah. Yeah. Saw them, and I really don't know the other two bands, but they were pretty good.
Baroque Monody and Zero Set Memory.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, I actually really like all three of those bands. I wish I could have made it out this weekend, but there was a lot going on.
Well, I mean, that's my whole point to this conversation is that, even if I didn't care for the music or I don't think it's that good, I'm still there and I'm still supporting it. I appreciate what everybody's doing, and just like I said, it's not a cover band issue because I go to see cover bands all the time. I sit up and jam with Rama and Triple Threat half the time, and I go see him all the time. He's a cover band.
Oh, yeah. I love some of the cover bands in the area. I love seeing Perfect Pair. Army of Two is great. I love watching Matt Muckle play drums.
Right.
And, there's a ton of great original bands around here as well, and we've, mentioned quite a few.
And music in general is really good in this area. I mean, there's a lot of fantastic, talented people here.
Oh, yeah, and then there's also great promoters around here, too, like the SYLM guys. They put on a lot of great shows.
Yeah, I agree. Then you get these out-of-town promoters that just want everybody to play for free, and they want you to sell tickets that guarantees people in their club. But that's not how it's supposed to work, You're supposed to build your club up and then have good entertainment come in.
Yeah, I hate that.
For their services.
I hate the whole pay-to-play bullcrap and having to sell tickets and all that. If you don't meet the ticket quota, you can't play.
Right.
Yeah, I hate that because then, if you sell, 5 tickets to your friends and you're supposed to sell 20, then your 5 friends are going to go to the show thinking you're going to play and they aren't going to see you.
Exactly.
That's why, that's why I'm keeping Macabre Fest free this year. It's not going to cost anything to get in. Of course, the bands know they're not going to get paid, but I'm not making anything off of it either. It's just really to introduce people to music.
Right, and it costs money to do that, and I sat down with Michael Kermick last week, and we talked about a lot of stuff, and I said, I really appreciate everything that you've done for the YMAs. I know that's really hard to do, and I totally have respect for him, and there's no bad blood whatsoever. In fact, we talked about how we can build the scene up. We're actually working together. So it's just sad that when you see a promoter come in and say, hey, we need you to sell this many tickets and do this. I don't mind doing that for a big national show that maybe might get us some publicity or some new fans.
Yeah.
That's great. But every show, we're not a charity band. I told a promoter, I said, listen, I don't know why you think we're going to sell tickets for your club during the week when we've never played there, first of all. And second of all, I don't know anybody that wants, I told him this. I said, basically, if you want to drive an hour to my house, load all my drums up in my car, which is 6 trips to my car, and drive an hour to play, set up, play for an hour, tear down, and drive an hour back, and you want to do that for free, I will gladly come and promote your club. He didn't like that too much. I said, well, why would you expect me to do that?
Yeah, exactly.
I have a family to feed. I enjoy playing music, and that's why I'm still doing it, because it really comes down to just me loving what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And that's why,
And you're married too, right?
Yeah, I'm married, kids and all that.
How long have you guys been married?
We've been together 12 years.
Nice. Is it tough to keep a marriage going with the music?
When you keep it separate, no.
That's good.
No, she really liked my band Urbane when we started because she liked the music, first of all, and second of all, she knew that everybody actually knew that band was going to do something big. So everybody was a part of it. Like, everybody just jumped on board with that. But ever since then, I've gotten into a little bit heavier stuff, just for me, drumming-wise. It makes me feel better about what I play, and it actually challenges me, so I'm actually growing as a drummer still. At my age, I'm still growing and learning, and that's something I really enjoy doing. But I'm also doing a 3-piece out in Warren. They're a bunch of cops, and they do a lot of charity work for a lot of good things, and it's more of a Eagles-type thing where it's all original, but it's very Southern, gospel-y blues stuff. So that's my balance,
You'll have to keep us posted on that when you guys are going to be playing.
Oh, for sure. I post whenever I can. But I have a disability too. A lot of people don't know that when I play.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask about that. I know you've posted some stuff about that in the past.
Yeah. I try to raise some awareness for it, and I meet a lot of people through it. And actually, music's a really good tool to meet people and talk with a lot of people for it. So,
what is it that you have?
It's called Chiari malformation, and I have syringomyelia with it.
And what exactly is that?
Basically, a malformation on my spinal cord and my skull. I was born with it. They never found, and I was always athletic and pretty fit my whole life, so they just kept missing it. And then finally, when I was 37 years old, they found it, and it just did so much damage. Basically, I have a cyst in my brain and caused some nerve damage, and basically I had to go in and open up my skull and take out the vertebrae in my skull and decompress my spinal cord. They took a part of my thigh out as well, put up in my skull like a pillow.
Wow.
Now I have nerve damage, so I really can't feel my hands at all, and I'm still playing. So
that doesn't affect your drumming at all?
It's actually made me better because I've had to change my movements. It's made me faster because I can't flail around, and I used to be able to put on a really good show, jump up and down, and do crazy stuff, but I can't do that. But it's made me a tighter player, which has made my style change, and that's made me faster.
Well, I guess that's a good thing then.
Yeah, I found the positive in it somewhere.
So what's the future now for Woodside Manor? What do you guys plan on doing next?
We hooked up with a really good promoter in Cleveland who really likes what we're doing, and so far we're getting a huge response from everybody we're playing with. Even the crowd and other bands are really saying, "Man, you guys have something really good." So the promoter is really working with us, Bob Hacker from Metal Mafia, who signed to Ferocious. We're competing for that record label in May. And I have contact. I have a conference call this coming week with a big promoter out of Cleveland who saw our stuff online and really wants to do some stuff with us. And we have some really big shows coming up. We have Head P and Alien Ant Farm. We have Mushroom Head. We have, I can't say, but once you get the contract, I think we're doing the Limp Bizkit show as well. Nice.
And I know I'll be at the Head P Alien Ant Farm show. That's in Geneva.
Yeah.
I'll be at that show.
And right now we're just hitting it, trying to get our music out there because we're a new band. I mean, people really haven't heard us a lot, but we're just in the promotional stages. But being so young and, all of us in some form have been fairly successful on another level, I'm able to use those contacts. And as long as you put out good material, and that's the key, is you got to put out good stuff, and you got to put on a good show, and you have to have a good package to sell.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's what we're doing, and a lot of people are really taking to it, and it's getting a lot of attention, both locally and nationally right now.
And you guys are also playing the big Ginger Spits reunion show, right?
Yeah, we're doing that show too. Thanks to Bob. I mean, Bob's really hooking us up.
Yeah, Bob's a great dude. And he's very, very supportive. Even though Metal Mafia is out and they're touring and stuff, he still supports the local music scene, which is spectacular.
Well, this is the thing: is like his style and our style are totally different.
Yeah.
Even though we have that heavy element to it, it's totally different. But we totally support each other. We have so much respect for each other. Like, he called me to sit in to fill in, help write some of the stuff previously, and I did. And Luke, the drummer, Luke Thomas, was able to come back and play, and I said, "No problem, man. This is your deal. I'm just here to help you, man." And I think I gained respect on that aspect. And I have a lot of respect for what they do by sitting in and playing with them. And it's about being a part of it. So we go back and forth, and Bob's taking it to another level, and he's kind of helping us. And hopefully when we take it to another level, we can return the favor to, the people that support us as well.
Yeah, definitely. Well,
yeah, I mean...
Oh, keep going.
Oh, I was just going to say that, that's what it's about.
Yeah.
Going to people's shows and being there and supporting each other. I don't agree with, and this is one thing I told Michael Kermick, as I said, I don't agree with a band that plays only cover and gets an award for it for being the best rock band in town. And no disrespect, because I've played with those guys. And I have no disrespect towards them personally or musician-wise, but I just have a problem with them getting an award and being recognized for doing that when there's other bands here that could be the best rock band when they write, produce, work, you know what I mean?
And there were two specific categories. I had to go back and look at the Y-Town Music Awards website last night. There were two specific awards. One was Best Original Band, and another one was Best Original Band Song.
Right.
So they did kind of separate it a little bit there, but for the most part, the big categories like Best Rock Band or, Best Alternative Band or whatever, you were allowed to have cover bands in there too.
Well, sure, you should be recognized for being the best cover band. And some of these cover band musicians have been around the block and they've done things that were really good in the day, and they should be recognized for that. There's some really good musicians in these cover bands, and I don't mean any disrespect towards those guys at all, because I'm friends with half of them, I played with half of them, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful manner, but it's really hard to create opportunity and bring back the music scene when there's 10 cover bands playing all the same songs.
Yeah, that is true.
And no cover band musician goes to original musician shows. They're not supporting, they sit there and claim to support original music when you don't see any of these guys at any original shows, whether the music sucks or not. They're not there putting bodies in the crowd.
I do see a few of them out. I see Kermick at a few original shows, and I've seen Jimmy Migliozzi at a few original shows. Michael Baranski, I've seen him out and about before.
Well, I'm saying in jump, there are some really good dudes that are supportive. Like I said, I talked to Michael Kermick, and I had total respect for him, and we sat down, and he absolutely is a supporter of music in general. So I'm talking to these other guys that go and they get paid and they don't care, and they don't put on a show for people. They just show up and they want their money, and that's it, But that's not just cover bands. I'm getting on original bands too, because I don't want to pay good money. I don't want to pay $5, $10, $15 to see a band I could see in my garage that shows up in, a pair of jeans and a t-shirt and half-asses the show and then leaves when they're done playing. That to me really aggravates me.
Yeah, that's pretty ignorant, especially, if you're like in the opening band and you come out, you play, and then you leave. Yeah, that's ignorant. That's not good support at all. Well,
I can say this because I'm 40, I'm in my 40s. We're dressing up. We're still dressing up to, and that's what gets people's attention right off the bat. It's like, wow, what are these guys about? We look like a uniform team. We're putting on a show for people. We're there to entertain, not just so you can hear our music and we want you to pay to see us. We're there to entertain you, and that's what we do. We have a really high energy, really good show.
Yeah,
and that's what I expect from other people. When I pay to see money, I have a family to support. If I'm giving you money to do what you love doing, I expect to get a show out of it.
Yeah, and I've known Chin a very long time, and every band he's ever been in has always put on a high energy show. Cyrus, I mean, come on, at the time that they were playing, they were probably the biggest drawing band in Youngstown, had probably the most energy of any band in Youngstown as well.
Oh, for sure. For sure. He brings a lot of energy to the table as a frontman. He's very animated, and that's what I love about Chin. And everybody knows him. He has a reputation. I mean, let's face it, he's a black dude singing white music really energetically. I mean, you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, definitely.
And he has a reputation. Everybody knows him, so.
And, one thing I do want to bring up, and you said that you don't think that bands that play covers should win awards. One thing I want to bring up, in 1994, Whitney Houston won several Grammys for I Will Always Love You. Do you think that was right?
I don't necessarily. I don't want to take that out of context. I didn't mean cover bands shouldn't win awards for what they do. That's not what I mean at all. They should be recognized for their talent and as being the best cover band, being able to cover somebody else's material. I think they should get recognized for that. Let's clarify that. I want to give props to any musician that goes out there and is good and masters their craft and do what they do, and they get paid for it. That's a lot of respect to me. What is happening, or what I see, is that people aren't getting recognized for, the behind-the-scenes stuff. I think like Whitney Houston, she's a figure with a fantastic, talented voice. Somebody else writes music. Like, I was just downloading Bruno Mars for my wife today. Half of his stuff was written by somebody else.
Oh, yeah.
He's just the guy that puts it out there.
Well, I brought this up.
Aguilera, same thing.
I brought this up last night, too, that, at the Grammys, they have, the category for best song, and that goes to the writers, and then they have that same exact category, basically, and it's best performance, and that goes to the actual performer of the song.
Well, that's where the title artist comes in. You have to be able to see somebody's vision, and you have to be able to run with it and bring it out. You have to see what somebody else is feeling and wanting you to experience, and then you have to be able to portray that. That's what an artist is. If I'm doing something Woodside Manor, even if you don't like what I'm playing, I'm making you feel a certain way. I'm making you feel angry or aggressive, or I make you want to jump up and down, or, I did a show with New Pharmacy, and I had a kid come up to me, as creepy and weird as it is, and he said, I stopped cutting myself because of you guys. And we're like, what?
Wow.
It's just strange, but see, this is what music does to people. And he said, I found something in your music that really inspires me, and I really have something to feel good about, and I can't wait to see you guys again. So
that's awesome.
When you hear that, when you hear stuff like that, that inspires you to do more things. And then just stuff like that. And then like Brian sent me a link for Hollywood sent me a link for the Purple Cat music it's for special needs people.
Yeah,
and they're bringing music to them, and that's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, and I give props to the SYLM guys who are doing a benefit for that as well.
Mm-hmm. See, music comes in all forms and fashions, and no matter if you're doing it in your basement or you're just sitting around a campfire, and it brings people together, and that's what it should be doing. It shouldn't be about covers and original. It should be about supporting each other's shows, being there. Original musicians have to work harder because they have to promote, and their music isn't as popular. And let's face it, the general listener they're not very open-minded. So they have to work harder to get their stuff out there. So it would be nice if the cover bands would come and support that as well, because we work twice as hard, And that's that gives opportunity to put Youngstown on the map. Like, you're not going to get famous from being in a cover band. You could be.
No, you're not.
Not likely. It's not likely someone's going to sign you because you're playing somebody else's stuff.
Yeah, I think really the only person that's ever gotten fame from being a cover artist was probably Michael Bolton.
True. But see, this is the thing is that, I've always done original music. Even though I've played cover stuff on the side, or I've gotten calls to do ensembles or, country music or some type of new age stuff. My passion's always been with what I'm doing, and the whole thing is that I've been successful doing it. I've come across serious executives. I've come across people that were really interested in the business aspect of it. And that's what keeps me going, is because I know there's an opportunity there, and as long as I keep putting out good material and I have a good package to sell, people forget that there is actually business to this.
Yeah, that's true.
My opinions come from that aspect, not just from hanging out and playing and enjoying it, and I respect that. I do, but I'm on a different level where that's where my opinion's coming from, where I'm actually trying to be successful at it.
Now, another question for you. You said that you have kids. How old are your kids?
Oh, man. Well, my wife and I don't have any kids together, but
okay.
She has 3 kids. Her youngest is 16, and she's actually grandmother of 3.
Oh, wow.
2, and not quite 1 yet, but she'll have 3 grandkids. But she doesn't look it either, if you know her. She doesn't look like a grandma.
No, actually, she doesn't look like a grandma at all.
And then my son's like 6'2", and for anybody knows me, I'm only 5'6".
Yeah.
So my son's 6'2", 19 years old. He's a big dude.
And what do the kids think of the music? Do the kids like it?
The girls, they don't really care, honestly. My stepson, he's like, yeah, that's cool. He kind of goes with it, and he helps me load the drums and do what I got to do. My son actually did a dual solo with me at Vexfest one year.
Nice.
And he's a big supporter of what I do. He loves it. All him and his friends really get involved in what I'm doing. He doesn't play or do anything like that, but he supports it.
That's really awesome. Usually, musicians who have kids, either the kids get really into music or they go the opposite direction and want nothing to do with it.
Yeah, well, our kids are kind of both. Like my stepdaughter, she's a very, very talented violinist. She ended up quitting, but she just, I want to get her to the studio because she's that good.
Yeah.
And it's good to have. I said, that's something you're always going to want to have in your life, and it's always going to be there. You're going to want that somewhere later on when you get older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a few kids myself. My oldest is going to be 7 in about a month, and I've always played music and stuff, and he wants nothing to do with it. He just wants to play video games.
That's the killer nowadays, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, it'll come around. Music is everywhere. That's the thing.
That's
you
true.
get in an elevator, you hear it. You get in your car, you hear it. You walk through the store, you hear it. Music is everywhere. So, I mean, you can't avoid it.
Yep. But yeah, me growing up, it was music and sports, and him, it's just video games. He wants nothing to do with sports or music.
Yeah. Well, we try. I'm a video gamer myself because that was my era, but I still get into them. But I'm still an outdoors guy. I like to get involved. I like to be physical when I can. I try not to let my disability get in the way of too much. But I'm big at hands-on kind of guy. I like to be active. So
that's the way to be, man. Gotta stay healthy.
Got to.
You don't want to get winded up there playing the drums,
And I do sometimes. I'm like, oh man, that's why I wear a mask. I'm like, I don't want people to see me cringe in pain, or I don't want them to see that. I want them to see me enjoy myself. So I kind of gotta mask it a little bit. But
all right, well, I gotta wrap this up here in a few seconds. Is there anything else you would like to add before I let you go?
No, I just want to. I don't know. I just want to see the scene come back to life. You can go to any club and hear any good music and good bands, and cover bands. I respect what you do. Just do what you got to do. Original bands, I want to see you guys really step up and start putting on a show and actually entertaining people, not expecting to get paid for nothing. I want you guys to work too. So let's all come together and bring everything. Music's a good thing, so it should be about being together and supporting each other's whatever we're doing.
Yeah, definitely. And, I just want to add one last thing, man. I'm really disappointed you're going to be out of town for Macabre Fest. I really wanted to have you guys play.
I really would love to play, man. I really appreciate the opportunity. We don't turn down too many shows. Actually, we play as much as we can. So just right now where we're at, we're reaching for bigger things. We're trying to go for the contract. We're trying to go for, the national recognition. So I really wish we were in town to do it. I mean, I really wanted to be a part of that.
Hey, man, no big deal. There's always next year, right?
There's always next year. I'm always around. I'm always involved somewhere, somehow, behind the scenes in music. So yeah. I'm a big supporter of anything that anybody's doing musically. I just want the same from everybody else.
Yeah. So as long as you guys aren't out touring, playing arenas next year, we'll have you play Macabre Fest.
Well, hopefully we will be, but we'll definitely come back. I'll definitely support hometown music. For sure.
Definitely, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on the show, man, and clearing a few things up.
Hey, thanks.
Really appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me, man. I really respect a lot of you guys out there, and I really appreciate this opportunity.
All right. Thank you very much, Mike.
Well, thank you, sir.
All right. Bye.
Have a good one. Bye.
This
All right, another great interview there with Mike Ezzo, and coming out of that interview was brand new from Kitchen Knife Conspiracy, Vile Sense of Taste, and of course, Kitchen Knife Conspiracy, along with Slander and Baroque Monody, will be headlining Macabre Fest this year. That is July 11th at Dave Grohl Alley in Warren. I look forward to it. It's going to be a good time. I can't wait. And then, of course, going into the interview was Woodside Manor. The song's called Enter Venus. Coming out of the Ryan Ross interview, I didn't plug this before, but that was Harnessing the Sun, Love You to Death. We had Doug Roberts in a while back. He's the lead singer and guitar player for Harnessing the Sun. And, of course, going into the Ryan Ross interview, we had a little bit of Ryan Ross and the Youngstown Syndicate. So, good variety of music this week, definitely. I love it. All right, and coming up next, we are going to have the one and only Aly Byerly from Third Class. And if you don't know anything about Third Class, they've been around, they're celebrating 16 years this year. They just put out a new record. And very much looking forward to talking to Lee about the history of the band, and hopefully we'll talk a little bit about the future of the band as well. I am very excited to talk to him, so we'll get Aly Byerly on the phone now.
Hey there, I love you. Don't you love me too? I need you to love me so I can be with you. Hey there, I need you to be there by my side. And hey there, I need you to be there when I cry. If you can be who I need you to be, then we can be you and me. Hey there, I need you to be there when I cry. And hey there, I need you to be there when I die.
All right, I've got Aly Byerly from Third Class on the phone. How you doing today, Lee?
Good, man. What's happening?
Oh, a whole lot of everything.
Cool. This is the midnight hour, is that right?
Yes, it is.
So let me give you something free of charge.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Lee. Hi there. I'm Lee from the band Third Class, who you've probably definitely heard of and haven't not heard of. You're listening to the midnight hour. So now you can use that every episode. It'll be perfect.
Oh, that's sweet, man.
No, sorry. But yeah, man, that's cool. How many episodes you in?
This is the 11th episode, man.
That's awesome, man. Congrats.
Thank you. And you have a birthday tomorrow, right?
That's right, man. 31 years.
31.
Yeah.
So, you got the band together at a relatively young age then, right?
Yeah, it was around 1999. I would have been about 14 or 15.
Wow. How hard is it to keep a band together for 16 years?
It is hard. We had it kind of handed to us in that we lived together for the first few years. My brother Jack and our best friend Peppy, he actually lived with us and our mom during the time that we started. So we had it very easy. A lot of people have to lug their drum set, their amps to their friend's house, and it gets tedious. So we just rolled out of bed and wrote songs, so we got a good start.
That's pretty awesome, man.
Yeah.
Is it difficult to be in a band with your brother, though?
Yeah, both of them I consider my brothers, and it is difficult. Actually, even from the beginning, we it was one of those, I'm older than you, I'm cooler than you, don't hang out with me type vibes. I'm the oldest of three. Oldest of four if you count Peppy as a brother. So we kind of had that
thing going, which of course isn't like that now, but, in high school, in middle school and high school, we'd be like, don't you tag along with me. I got my cool friends who are at my age and blah, 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 and this and that. But over the years, we fight. We have little moments where we're like, should we do this anymore? Is this going to be right? We have egos clashing constantly. Though I'm a nice guy, known as a nice guy, I'm definitely a control freak with the band. I'm the guy that kind of takes the wheel and does the marketing and a lot of the, play this like this, do this like this, that harmony was off type, logistics guy. So as the older brother to two younger brothers, as our dynamic has happened, or even to take it further, father and son dynamic even, we fight once in a while, and it's hard to hold it together, but it makes it worth it. You got to work a little bit to get anything you love happening.
When did you guys start playing shows? I know you guys got together in '99. When did you guys start playing out?
Well, we did technically start playing living room shows in '99. We played in somebody's barn. We played in other people's basements, houses. And then 2001 was when we actually started playing like in public, at Cedars Lounge and places like that. Lazy Bean Cafe came soon after, which was in Columbiana, Ohio, and things like that. So 2001 would have been when we actually, went out and booked shows.
You guys, as far as the local scene goes, you guys have been able to remain somewhat underground.
Yeah.
How did you guys accomplish that?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's not that we wanted that necessarily. We definitely write songs with people in mind, with fans in mind, with Youngstown, Ohio in mind. We want to connect. But I think maybe the reason for us, as you say, staying underground is probably comes down to the song themes. We usually write about relatively specific things, and oftentimes the songs get very specific fast. And I think that kind of lends itself to winning over people one at a time. It's kind of like this song's about, somebody's dad, and so somebody else with a situation like that is like, hey, sounds like what happened with me and my dad, or, oh, this song reminds me of me when I was a kid. We write a lot about childhood. So what I've found is over the years, usually the connection is only made one by one with people. It's not really a broad sweep. And that's not something we dislike. We are we're lucky enough to be a few people's favorite band. And I want to make money. We do want to be successful, but at the same time, the really, really, really huge acts in the world, my theory is that not many people have them as their favorite band. Everybody just thinks they're okay, and that's why they sell a lot of albums. So in a way, there's a little bit of a genuine attitude in Ohio and other places we go if people really do like the music, because it becomes sort of a cult type following, though a small one.
And one thing I've really noticed about your songwriting is it seems like you guys have more of a storytelling sort of structure to your songs.
Yeah, that's not really something we honed on purpose for the band. I'll really like English as a subject or language arts. A couple of us went to school for English. And a couple of us got some stuff published in poetry magazines, short story magazines. And so I think that lends itself to the music. A band called the Mountain Goats that's getting more and more popular these days, they categorize themselves as literary rock. And I kind of like that term. I kind of want to steal that for us. Literary rock. It's just rock that has a little bit of a narrative to it sometimes.
Yeah, you don't really see that a whole lot anymore in popular music, and especially in the local music scene.
Sure. Yeah, that's true. And that's not something I hope to see more of. It's not something that we necessarily pride ourselves on. We just ended up that way because that's how we talk. We tend to overanalyze, be long-winded about just on one subject. So I think that comes through very, very like noticeably in our music. We hone in on one subject, and then we end up just inadvertently kind of telling a story.
So, being that you guys have been together for 16 years now, you've seen a lot of local bands come and go. Who are some of the bands that aren't around anymore that you would kind of like to see come back?
I miss. This is kind of weird, but in Akron in 2000 and maybe 7, we played with Nicholas McGallis and the Zoo. And the Zoo's still around, but Nicholas McGallis, I kind of really liked. There's kind of a White Stripes thing happening, and I know he's a guy who is now getting big for doing pop songs and doing like comedy videos online and stuff. And I really like his work, but I really miss the kind of just the piano rock White Stripes feel from the Cleveland, Ohio area. Then more specifically, Youngstown. I miss. Oh, let me see. I'm hard to even think now. I kind of miss Lady Fantastic.
You know, I loved Lady Fantastic. It's not really my kind of music, but I really liked them. You know, like I came up as a teenager with bands like Sift, Cyrus, Slander, you know, the heavier bands. But I really dug Lady Fantastic.
Yeah, they're good, and that's the same for me. I'm not somebody who I don't even listen to even heavy. I'm the opposite end. You know, I listen to much lighter stuff. I'm almost basically at my old age a soft rock type person now, and so Lady Fantastic, them and a band like Album, who's still going strong, they're kind of like fun surprises for me because I don't think I'm going to like it because of the genre, but they both have a theatrical quality, and Lady Fantastic had a theatrical quality in their performance, and Album continues to do so. And there's so many bands that have come and gone, and I've forgotten the names. There's so many favorites of ours, though. From Toledo, Ohio, is the Faux Pas, who played with us a lot. I think they're coming back to record at least a single, maybe not a live show, but put out something. And then there were a lot of old bands that kind of gave us a leg up. That started like Mystic Whip Hustler, who once in a while shows up and does a performance. And then who else was there? Shiva Magic doesn't exist anymore, but the guy who does it works on a camera crew who films Youngstown local music and stuff. He works for DP Visual Media, and a lot. So those guys were good. And actually, we kind of came up with a lot of jam bands, and we weren't ourselves that, but we started a lot more progressive rock sounding initially. So those guys I kind of have a soft spot for that started out with us.
Yeah, and there's a lot more of those in Youngstown now than there ever was really before.
It seems like it, yeah, for sure. Yeah, but Jones for Revival is good. A lot of the bands, like some of the bands that like Five Elements aren't really a jam band, but in the vein of like reggae or stuff, kind of like that loose feel, stuff like that. It's funny, a lot of the stuff I'm a fan of isn't stuff that sounds like us at all, and so I suppose that is a well-rounded outlook. But yeah, a lot of the stuff I go see are bands that we don't end up playing a whole lot with all the time because sometimes the crowd won't be into both bands.
Yeah, see, I was always into the metal scene, you know, playing in bands. So the bands that I saw were the other metal bands. So I really didn't get exposed to any other types of music locally, really, until I started working for YoungstownScene.com, and I was going out and I was seeing more bands, and I was like, you know what, I kind of like this. You know, like I remember Future Grass was really, really good.
Oh, yeah. They're not around anymore, huh?
No, I think one of the guys or two of the guys or something like that might be in Jones for Revival now.
Okay, and they played didn't they play like a festival in Lisbon or something like that? A couple festivals in Lisbon.
They might have.
Wasn't there like a Future Grass Fest or something?
Something like that, yeah. I know I saw them at Vex Fest a few times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're cool. And I know some of those bands, like Olympus Mons band is gone, but they were kind of a jam band.
Yeah, they were really good too.
Cool. Yeah.
So you guys have a new record either coming out or is it already out?
It is out. The confusion lies in the format. We released it late 2014 on CD, and now we're having the vinyl release show at a place called the Corner Shop, which is in the Knox building where Martini Brothers Burgers is in Youngstown. We're doing that February 6th. That's a 5 p.m. show, so it's an early show as we get older. We're playing at 5 p.m., everybody in bed by 9 type show. So yeah, we're excited. We never put out anything on a record before, so we're excited about that.
So this is your first vinyl release then?
Yeah, and this is the album Hymns from Some Small Town. So we're excited because we not only is it the first time we're trying doing a vinyl release, but we feel it's the best sounding album to try to put on vinyl too. We think it's the best thing that would lend itself to that sound.
Yeah, I've noticed, I've listened to a few of the tracks from the album. It's got sort of like a, almost like a 60s bubblegum pop sort of feel mixed in with a little bit of Motown. Definitely.
All of a sudden, we got this little bit of R&B influence under our belt from stuff that our, I credit a lot to stuff that our dad played for us when we were younger. He actually passed away in 1993. He had skin cancer, but we ended up kind of listening to lots of stuff like the Capitals or Gladys Knight and the Pips type stuff, and the Junior Walker and the All-Stars. We always had that kind of under our belt, but I don't know that we understood that we could play some stuff influenced by it until we got older. Maybe it's something you appreciate as you get older, but yeah, and then bubblegum pops, yeah, for sure. We've gotten just more and more poppy as we've continued writing, and that's not something we really have a lot of control over. I think that's just the direction we kind of had to go in from where we started.
So before this new record, what were some of your biggest influences musically?
I would say for me, Wilco was a big influence. I always kind of wanted to write songs like that were straightforward with some good lyrics, good love songs. A lot of times with the first record, Clo's Epitaph is Clo in 2006, I think we were coming off of a big stint with Radiohead. A little bit of Korn was in our youth. We listened to like Korn, Limp Bizkit, Orgy, all those guys that were kind of that school. And you can't really hear it that much on our record, but we're a little wilder on that first one. And I think that comes from a place that has to do with like the Beastie Boys. Actually, even I would go as far as to say like the Roots, Prodigy, a lot of the bands that got going in the 90s, we kind of latched on to, and we wrote a little bit crazier, wilder stuff. And then there were lots more time changes and weird time signatures. I think that came from liking progressive rock, and bands like Yes. No, we didn't grow up with them. I think they inadvertently influenced us. And then kind of the school of like Beck, Calvin Johnson, Nirvana, those bands. It wasn't that we grew up with Beck, but then somebody else would come up to us and say, you guys sound like this, and you guys sound like this, and that would turn us on to those bands we hadn't heard, like Gentle Giant from the 70s. We get Cheap Trick a lot. We sounded like them when we started. So it goes all over the map, but I think it can kind of be nailed down into like pop rock with a progressive rock and punk rock leaning. I think it is definitely ultimately pop, but I think those things are in the background a lot. Punk, well, Rancid was a huge influence on us.
Yeah, I'd love Rancid. They're an amazing band. They're like the modern Clash.
Sure, and the Clash became a huge influence too. It was just because I was born in '84, we just missed them just by a little bit and got into them later.
Now, how many releases have you guys put out?
Really, as far as full-length albums go, it's only 3 full-length studio albums. And then we put out an EP in 2011, which we raised money locally for, and we got it paid, 2/3 of it paid for by fans and friends and family and people that were just willing to help us out, give us a few bucks, so that then we could give that away for free when we went on tour or give it away locally. So technically it's 4 studio releases. Then there was a compilation here and there were early things that we sold ourselves at house shows. But by and large, the 4 studio releases are the things that have held and the things that you see at our shows and the things that people know.
You guys recently tried something a little bit new with the Seattle Stars release.
Yes.
Explain that a little bit.
That's the most important of the compilations. That was what we did was we took one song that later appeared on Hymns from Some Small Town called Seattle Stars, and we wrote it kind of based on a summer camp we worked at in Seattle, Washington. We came back from Seattle, Washington, wrote that song, got it recorded, and then we sent it out to a bunch of bands from the Northeast Ohio area, bands that we thought would kind of work fast. Not that we wanted to rush the artistic process, but we just wanted to put it out before the album was out. And so an album did have a deadline because we have one of our band members travels a lot. So anyhow, we sent Seattle Stars out to a bunch of bands. I could list them all to you. I'll just hand you a couple. Human Petting Zoo, which is a ukulele punk. Sleep Projections, which are an awesome kind of post-punk Radiohead influenced band from Youngstown. Gave it to the Zoo, Sam Goodwill. Icarus Flew, who is a techno kind of electronic act. A bunch of other people. Sam Goodwill, who the guy produced half of our full length. Gave it to all of them. Blew Through Branches, all these other bands. I'm trying to name them all. And they handed back to us a bunch of versions which are completely different from each other. And then we made this 10-song compilation, all of that song, Seattle Stars. And then we put it up online for free. And we just wanted it to be kind of a sampler of Youngstown bands that were kind of the same genre as us or close to the same genre as us. And you don't want to be one of the guys that's like, record me a song for free and I will give you free exposure. But, we didn't want to do that. But I think all these guys are our friends or fans at least. And they were like, you know what? We'll give you a song for free. We'll record that for you just for the love of recording and doing music. And we really appreciated that. It was a very huge, generous gesture on all those bands' parts, because now it's just up there for free. Anybody can download it. It's on thirdclass.net on the Bandcamp download. There's no physical copies of it. It simply exists online, and we hope that it's a jumping off point for people to say, I like Third Class's song. I like this band's version. I'm going to go on Bandcamp and find that band's full-length album. I hope that it's something that will send you down the rabbit hole in exploring Ohio music.
Yeah, and it's a really cool concept. And, I listened to the whole thing. And, with it being the same song, I figured, I'll listen to one song here and there, but I actually wanted to listen to it all the way through to hear all these different versions of this great song.
Totally. I was surprised by that. That was just a bonus for me. I definitely thought people would have to skip around, but it totally does work all the way through. Surprisingly. Yeah,
definitely. I haven't really had a chance to listen to the whole album all the way through, the new album. But
from some small town, yeah. But you reviewed us single, right?
Yeah, but I got to tell you, Cold Morning Light, that is one catchy song, man. I find myself singing that sometimes.
Man, that's awesome to hear. That kind of means the world to us because I don't know. We're really big on writing songs that can mean anything, that are about something really specific, like list poems and things where you're listing specific moments in your life that can be interpreted in a million different ways. So the fact that we can just kind of take a few images, put them together, and make it something that does something for you is a huge thing, man. I don't know, like that's the best you can hope for, especially in Youngstown.
Now, you said earlier that you draw from your own life experiences when you write music. What life experiences were you drawing upon on this new album?
We kind of had a little bit of a lot of stress going on, not within the inner workings of the band so much, but just in family life. We had a lot of anxiety happen in our family, lots of arguments happening, lots of what am I going to do with my life? What do I keep going to school? What's my next job? What do I, that kind of thing was just going on here and there. Kind of that energy was bouncing around. So I have to say we wrote a lot of these songs as therapy, going through the things we went through. I mean, these songs were written to keep us occupied, and I think we inadvertently ended up writing about working with the kids, the campers in Seattle, because it was such a good thing for our attitudes. And then we ended up writing a lot about way back when we were really young, writing about times in the 80s and 90s when we spent time with our grandparents. wrote about like old girlfriends, wrote about new relationships and stuff. I wrote a little bit about my wife and stuff, and I think I wrote more directly about her than I ever have before, too. She's actually on the cover in the corner as one of the little girls in the picture on Hymns from Some Small Town. And it's not that all the songs are dedicated to like our dad or my wife or each other. It goes all over the place, but I definitely think we wrote a lot about family, like way more than we ever have before.
Now, you keep mentioning this camp that you were at in Seattle.
Yeah.
What's the deal with that?
That was just something that my youngest brother, Steve Boyle, Summer Camp Steve is his musician name. He appears on that compilation. He has worked there the last 3 years, 4 years now, I think, Hidden Valley Camp in Seattle, Washington. So one year, me and my brother said we should go on a road trip. Steve says, how about this? How about I do you one better? Come and work at this camp for the summer for 9 weeks. So we paid some rent early. We got some stuff in order, and we took, a financial undertaking. You don't get paid very much working at camps. So we just kind of took a big chunk of risk and went out there. And my wife was a camp nurse. I was a driver for the kids. I drove them all over the place to hikes from the airport and all this stuff all day. And my two brothers did the camp counseling. Peppy from Third Class wasn't there, but we came back and wrote all these songs with him about it. I think he got the vibe from us that we got a very communal feel out of working at the camp. So that was summer 2013. And then we came back and kind of drew from that energy and started writing as a band.
I've learned from my experience that camping is probably one of the best atmospheres to write music. I once took a band that I was in out to the mountains in Pennsylvania for 2 weeks, and we wrote some of our best material then.
That's awesome. What band was that?
We were called Acid Rain.
Cool. Okay. Man, yeah. Writing in the... I'm kind of handicapped when it comes to writing in the atmosphere. I think that's cool that you actually hung out in the mountains and wrote while you were there. I always have to do it and then come home and write about it. You know what I mean? I can't process fast enough.
Well, it was just, we sat around the campfire with acoustic guitars and just were writing like crazy. It was very inspiring.
That sounds perfect.
Yeah. Now, you guys do play a lot out of town.
Yeah, we do.
Where's the furthest away that you guys have played?
I went and played Third Class sets by myself in Seattle and Portland, Oregon. That's the furthest away we've gone. Otherwise, the furthest west we've gone besides just hitting a couple of dates on the West Coast is just Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And then east, we've gone New York a few times, a bunch of other places, Connecticut, Maryland. And then we've gone south to West Virginia. We've been to Louisville, Kentucky a ton of times. And I once played a show in Tennessee. So we've tried to stay all over the map, but it's writing original music. Even if you are getting fans and selling albums and T-shirts, it's really hard to keep that budget right. So we oftentimes have to be very economical in our tours.
So when you play at some of these places, how are the crowds? How do they, how do they react to you guys, being that you guys are from, Youngstown, Ohio, playing original music, songs they don't know?
Most of them are pretty cool. I mean, the other, Jack and Peppy, oftentimes will pull up to the venue and they'll be fretting a little bit about are these people going to like us? Are we going to suck? Do they think we suck? And that's never the case. As we got older, there's always a handful of people that are like, I really like this. And I can tell you that at least since 2007, we've at least won over one or two people every show we've played out of town. It's never as bad as you think it's going to be. I used to give this little disclaimer you have to hear us 10 or 20 times, then you'll get it, then you understand. But that's not the case. That was just me losing confidence in us as people. The cool thing is when we go somewhere, we play, and there'd be a bunch of kids. A lot of times people our own age weren't the ones that dug it. It would be someone who was over 40 or someone who was under 21, or it was always these kids and these people who were a little bit older that really dug the stuff. So that's what I keep my eye out for when we go on tour. Those guys like it. The older people like it because there's a little bit of that, as you say, a Motown type thing now. Not really much at all, but just enough that you can hear that we're doing a nod to like some love songs, oldie style. And the younger people like it because it's bouncy and fun. So like I keep my eye out for that, and usually we will win over a handful of people.
So are there any bands around town right now that you guys haven't had a chance to play with that you would like to play a show with?
Yeah, for a while I was looking to, we missed a date. We were going to play with Amnesty For Astronauts, but I know that they've kind of disbanded, I believe.
Yeah, actually, they broke up. Actually, their former lead singer is going to be on the show as well.
Cool.
Today.
That's cool. That's what I thought. Was that, what's that dude's name? What's his name? I'm sorry, I'm blanking on it.
Which one?
The former singer.
Oh, they had two singers, a female and a male. The guy's name was Josh.
Josh, okay. And Aly I just saw Aly recently, right? That's Aly.
Yeah, Aly's the one that's going to be on the show today.
Cool. Okay. Oh, yeah. I just saw her very recently. Yeah, I like her, and I liked any of the members that got in contact with me. They were real nice, and I unfortunately never got to even see them play live, and I really regret that. But I'm excited for any projects they have coming up, and I hope that we can hook something up there. Otherwise, Human Petting Zoo, the 16, 17-year-old young girl who plays ukulele punk, would be a great opener for us. Otherwise, there's not a whole lot of bands that I know of that we haven't played with here or there. But I'm sure that I'm out of the loop. Unfortunately, people like me that play shows don't often get to them because they request off certain days from work to play, and then they miss the days when they want to go see their friends' bands and stuff. So do you have any recommendations of bands I should keep an eye out for?
Oh, there's so many of them. Baroque Monody is a really good band.
Oh yeah, man, they are good. I listened to that Emperor release, the most recent thing. I love that.
Oh yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
So what's the future for Third Class? What do you guys have coming up?
We got that vinyl release show coming up. Probably have another music video at some point for this song from the same album. And I got a couple of shows in the works for Worcester, Ohio and Lakewood, Ohio. So that stuff should be available if anybody listening wants to go to www.thirdclass.net. We have our shows listed there. And so we're just going to try to sell this record and play a few shows and keep an online presence. And hopefully this Hymns from Some Small Town album will really do it for our fans. It will make them happy, and hopefully somebody will get something out of it. So we're really just going to work hard on pushing that record from this point on.
That all sounds really awesome, man. Well, I want to thank you very much for coming on the show. Unfortunately, we have to cut this off.
Oh, no problem. Thank you, Brandon. And say hi to Aly for me.
Oh, definitely, man. All right. You have a great day.
You too.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
I saw a film, it was of Mom when she was young. She was with Dad and it looked like they had a good amount of fun. They were in Portland and I don't remember why. I sat down on the couch and watched, and I began the schools I happened to go to. We played the keyboard making demo beats all night. And all the notes that we played wrong were played so right. Do you remember we used to hang in the cold morning light? I knew who you were, you knew who I was in the cold morning light.
All right, a great interview there with Lee Boyle from Third Class. And that's one of those bands that either you know who they are and you absolutely love them, or you've never heard of them before. And if you've never heard of them before, I suggest you go check it out. I just played 2 of their songs earlier going into the interview. I had Hey There, which is one of their older songs. And then what you just heard was their one of their latest songs. It's called Cold Morning Light. Very catchy, very Motown. Absolutely love that song. And make sure you go check them out on February 6th for their vinyl release party. That should be a good time. Look for me. I will be there. It's going to be a fun show for sure. And this Saturday, I hope to see everybody out and about at Chippers in Austintown. I will be there, and I will be enjoying the awesome metal show that SYLM has put on. The show will feature Orwellian, the Apocalyptic Fist of Black Death, Vengeance Within, and the Spectral Type. I played the Spectral Type a few weeks ago for you, and of course Hollywood was raving about them a few weeks ago, so I'm really excited to see them live for the first time. And of course Orwellian, you really cannot beat that. Ian Patel from Kitchen Knife Conspiracy is actually the lead singer of Orwellian as well, so it's gonna be a good time. Doors open at 8. It's a free show, so you really have no excuse not to be there. And the guys from SYLM, they always put on a fantastic show, and they're fun guys to hang out and drink with too. Joe Sinkovich, Chris Young, and Billy Page put together some phenomenal shows, so look for me. I'll be there. Also, mark your calendars now because SYLM is putting together another great show on Saturday, February 21st at 9 p.m. You can catch Resonaut, which is Joe Sinkovich's band. Awesome guys. We had Joe on one of the earlier shows. Starve, which is out of Erie, PA. Baroque Monody, if you remember, we had Rick on as well. And Letters. So that should be a good show too. That is Saturday, February 21st. I will be at that show as well. So a lot of great shows coming up. Spring, of course, is right around the corner. So all those bands that decided to take winter off are going to start playing out again. And from what I hear, Baroque Monody has some new material they're going to test out on you guys. So definitely a show, lots of shows you really aren't going to want to miss. And I mentioned earlier, Zero Set Memory. They'll be at the Empire Concert Club on next Tuesday, I believe. Yeah, so I believe that's the was it the 3rd? I think something like that. All right, and coming up right now, we've got Aly Byerly on the phone. For those of you who don't know, she in the 90s, the late 90s, she was the singer for Abnormal Psych, which also featured Joe Carbon. She took many years off before joining Amnesty For Astronauts in what was it, 2013? So she's gearing up for a new project once again with Joe, and we're very excited about that. But to lead into this interview, I'm going to play a brand new song. It's by Leland Scaly, and for those of you who don't know, he was in a band called Reeveless based out of Youngstown. They were a heavier band. He is now doing electronic music. He recently recorded a song with Aly Byerly, and we're going to play that for you. The song is called Runner. All right, I've got Aly Byerly on the phone. She is the former vocalist from Amnesty For Astronauts. How you doing today, Aly?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. So, you originally got started in local music playing with Abnormal Psych. Tell me how that band got together.
That band started, it was like early mid-90s, and there were actually two previous singers before me, DJ Tressler and Pat Fallon. And, you know, practices were at my house, and I learned a lot of the lyrics and just started writing songs with my brother and kind of worked my way into it.
That's a good way to get started, right?
Yeah.
So you took many years off from playing music. What were you doing in between Abnormal Psych and Amnesty For Astronauts?
Well, I didn't completely disappear. Well, okay, I disappeared from the scene, but in that time I did still, there were a couple times I tried to get bands together and write and all of that, but nothing ever really clicked or stayed together. Within that time, I got married, I had my son, went to school, and just basically tried to get everything else in order, you know, to get my life going.
And how exactly did you get involved with Amnesty For Astronauts? I know they had just Josh, just the one singer before you came along. How did you become involved with the project?
Well, that actually, Joe Carbon had gotten a hold of me, and we were going to start a side project. He knew that I'd wanted to be in a band since Abnormal Psych ended, and so we decided we were going to start up a side project, and Josh was going to be on board for that. The bass player, Sam, at the time, was going to be on board for that, and I think that, you know, my brother was going to try to play guitar in that as well, but he was living in Cleveland, so that meant driving down twice a week from Cleveland for 2 different practices. And it just kind of came together. Josh and I started sending songs back and forth. I started playing around with harmonies, and then it just, there was one night where it all came together and it became, you know, you're going to be in Amnesty. Forget the side project. Just let's all just do one project. So that's kind of how, again, I just kind of fell into it.
No,
basically.
Was it difficult for you and Josh to write songs together? Because I know he was a solo songwriter before he joined the band.
I actually found it really interesting to write stuff together. The first one that we wrote together was actually Counting Sheep. When I came into the band, that song was almost done, but it wasn't completed. And so I sat down and wrote the chorus part to that, you know, and wrote the harmonies to go along with his verses. And that was so much fun for me, was things that he had already written, laying down harmonies to them. And then together as songwriters, we both had styles that were different but worked very well together, I thought.
Now, how exactly did the band fall apart? If you don't mind talking about it.
That's a story with a very complicated answer. Sometimes things just happen, and when those things happen, everything gets blown to pieces. And unfortunately, you know, things happened in a way that the remaining 4 of us couldn't keep going as a band. It was no longer workable, and it was emotionally difficult, I think, for all of us. It was something that was both within the band and outside of the band, and not something that I'm going to go in detail about.
Yeah, I figured you wouldn't want to go into detail about it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this new project. You and Joe are working on something new.
Yeah.
You guys have a bass player. Is that right?
Yeah, we do. Chad McCrone from Seven Stones, our bass player.
And how are things going with that so far?
Really excellent. Things got switched up a little bit again from the beginning. I started learning to play guitar, not because I had any aspirations of ever being a guitar player, but how it kind of happened now is that temporarily I'm playing guitar and starting to write a little bit. Joe, of course, is on drums, even though he insists someday he'll be a singer.
I'd pay good money to see that.
You know what? I think I would too, really. So I've been kind of filling in the blanks on guitar, but we have a couple prospects, and it's looking good from this point out. We have about 9 songs, so we're looking to hit stage spring or summer, hopefully.
And you recently collaborated with Leland Scaly on a dance track. How did you get involved with that?
Well, he actually approached Joe. Joe managed Amnesty, and said, I'd like to collaborate with your singer. I'm, doing an album. And they said, well, which one? and Leland was like, the girl. So Joe asked me, he said, do you want to collaborate with Leland? Well, I knew Leland, but didn't know Leland. I had seen his band Reeveless a couple times, when they were around back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
So
that brings back some memories right there, Reeveless.
Yeah. They were good. And so, of course, my immediate answer was yes, absolutely. And beyond that I had never done a techno or dance-based track before, I was really interested to see what would happen.
Yeah, it's a really hot track, too. I mean, if I was still DJing, I would probably spin that at the clubs for sure.
Oh,
it's a good song.
Thank you.
And at first listen, I was like, wait, that's not Aly. But yeah, it sounds like you at times, but yeah, it's definitely a little different for you, for sure.
Yeah, way different, because I've always been just straight up rock, alternative, punk, so it was really neat to hear, the different effects that were thrown on my voice, and just the way the whole song came together. It was really a cool experience. And he did, that whole album is awesome. It's called Seeking Dreamers. And, of course that's everywhere. It's on iTunes, it's on Amazon. But it was really an awesome album and an awesome experience to be a part of it.
Now, did you record that with him, or did you guys record your parts separately?
We did them separately. He had sent me a few tracks and said, pick which one you like. And that one was the one that really jumped out at me. I thought it was extremely catchy, and, I couldn't help but move to it just listening to it. And so then I recorded my part here, and then we did everything via email back and forth. So, so it was separate, but I think it worked out pretty well.
Did you write the lyrics for that? Because it kind of sounds like something that you would write.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, that was the one really cool thing. He didn't send me something and say, here, sing this. He sent the music and lyrically kind of let me go where I wanted to. So the song was already titled when he sent it to me, and that was kind of neat, because usually I write the song and then I or someone else titles it. And so it was neat because that started the idea for the lyrics, was just his title, Runner.
Yeah, was that song, was it written at all when you were with Amnesty?
No, not at all.
So you wrote it after the band broke up?
Oh, you mean, no. It was around the same time. It was over the summer. So Amnesty was still together, but they weren't like lyrics that I had started for an Amnesty song and then just decided they worked better. They just were specifically for that song.
Okay, yeah, because I was going to say, it sounds like it could have been an Amnesty song if it were a rock song.
Yeah, and it's funny because it was written kind of in that style, and then the way that, dance music is taken and pieces are, put in different places, that there was a little of that going on, and that's one of the things I really liked, was how he arranged, the lyrics that I had put together. So.
Yeah, it's kind of a cool. It's like a love song, sort of, right?
It kind of is. It's kind of like that hopeless love song. It's basically about a person that you really want to get to know or want to be with or whatever, and you just feel like you're forever chasing that person. You're always chasing them.
Now, you're pretty well known for your very emotional lyrics, just as Josh is. How difficult was it for you to do the song Echo with, such a personal meaning behind it?
Well, at the time that, Amnesty was together, before everything fell apart, that song was something that it brought up, emotions of things that, I had dealt with in my life. But it was kind of a power song of like, you know what, I've been through this, and my brother and I are going, and we're getting through it, and we're doing it despite everything. And because as I know, I said it on stage a lot, but your listeners probably don't know, that song was written about my mother committing suicide and leaving my brother and I behind. And it was about not wanting to be the echo of that and of her and the way that all went. And so that song, at the time that I performed it, it always was hard because it was hard to kind of relive that feeling. But then you take it to that level of, I'm a completely different person, and look at us getting through this together. And that all changed.
Yeah, it's a really powerful song. It really is. And
Thank
definitely
you.
my favorite Amnesty song out of all of them. Definitely.
Thank you. I still am very fond of it, and it hasn't gone away. It's just changed meaning now, but it's still there. That song will be on stage again.
Now, how old were you when you lost your mom?
I was 20, barely, and I lived at home, and I was a full-time college student working part-time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awful.
Yeah, it was incredibly hard, and it was in the wake of losing, our father the year before. So it was kind of like, and our grandpa the year before that. So it was 3 in a row, and it hit pretty hard. It basically flipped my world upside down. And I think, I sit here 14 years later still trying to catch up.
Yeah. So let's talk about Amnesty a little bit more. What were some of your favorite songs when you were with Amnesty? Some of your favorite songs to perform live. Let's say that.
Okay. I Will Not Be Your Ghost was absolutely one of my favorites to play. And I had absolutely no part in writing that song. That was one that I showed up, put the harmonies in, but I just felt like that song had such drive to it. It was just fun. I really enjoyed that one. Echo, obviously, was another favorite for obvious reasons. And Devil in Disguise was another one that I really liked playing too. I don't think we had a song that I didn't like playing, though.
I was actually going to say I liked every single one of the songs that you guys did, and that's kind of rare for me with any band, even national acts. Some of my favorite bands, I can't sit here and say that I like every single song by them, but I liked every single song you guys did.
Thanks. Yeah, there was only, I take it back. There was one that was kind of the bane of my existence in that band until it clicked into place, was I'll Be Fine. Because the song itself was so heavy, and I'm kind of like, I don't know, power pop or whatever. So to try and make that work together was challenging. but once it worked itself out, I think it was pretty good. But if you listen to early versions of that song, it's almost hilarious because they're just awful.
As a female singer, there's female singer in a rock band. There's women out there that you could look up to, but I think women a lot of times get put down and get overlooked in rock music. So who are some of the women rockers that you looked up to as you were perfecting your art?
Well, actually, it's kind of ironic. Gwen Stefani always has been one of my favorites from the first time I ever heard her. I know she's classified more as ska and, runs towards the pop side a lot of the time, but she was a huge influence. Same with Madonna, again, pop. Madonna was one of the first albums I bought when I was a kid on vinyl. Joan Jett, Heart, Lisa Loeb, again, more folk music, pop side. There are so many women and men alike that I admire in all genres that I think I've pulled from all of them because I don't really differentiate. I think that you are as strong as you want to be in music, whether you're male or female.
Yeah, and I definitely I see a lot of Gwen Stefani in your stage performance for sure.
Thanks.
Thanks. The way you dress, the way you move on stage, it's very Gwen Stefani. I can definitely see that for sure.
I loved how she never stopped moving. And always just looked like she was having a blast. And I feel like I kind of got to understand that in Amnesty because I had a blast every show.
Yeah, so, you definitely did that. You moved around a lot, and you paid for it at Ballyhoo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I thought, that was a little bit ironic because I don't think I moved there as much as I did, in the 1,000 degrees at the crawl space for Macabre's Fest. I think I moved around way more there and managed to not have a heat stroke. So.
And hey, people do a lot of crazy things for their art, right?
Mm-hmm. Very, very true.
You guys played a lot of big shows. What were some of the shows that you had the most fun doing?
All of them. But really, I would have to say that my two favorites were probably, I've got three favorites because Macabre Fest was a great show. I've never been so drenched in sweat in my life.
You don't have to say that just because I'm the one doing the interview.
No, I'm not. Hands down on video, it comes off exactly how it felt. It was one of the most fun, best shows we played, although air conditioning would have been super.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Crickets that we did for the YMA promotion shows. Crickets was so incredibly good to the band there, and the stage and the sound and everything was spot on. And then, of course, anytime we were playing Chippers, I had a smile on my face. The whole SYL thing, really now I think it's really taken off. But from the get-go, we got nothing but good response from everybody there. We were always welcomed when we got there. Those shows were always an awesome experience because it was just always a blast. We just always had fun and felt like we were at home.
Yeah, it's definitely good to have a home bar, and that was always you guys' home bar.
Yeah.
And I really can't think of a performance I've seen that you guys did where you guys were not on top of your game and just not having a good time.
Yeah. We had our nights. Everybody does, but it was always once we started playing, a lot of that faded away, and you just get into the music and go with it.
So, what's the future look like with this new band?
Hopefully great is what I'm hoping for. I've had just as much fun writing the weeks that we've gotten together for practicing. It's different, but it still has, my heart's still all in it. You know, I thought when Amnesty was done, I thought it was going to be incredibly hard to bounce back from that and everything that came with it. And again, I'll say people need to realize it wasn't just a band falling apart. There was a lot more to it than that. But the new band is just, it's fun. And the lyrics are still my lyrics and as crazy as ever. I'm just interested to see when we get someone in who can actually play guitar, unlike me, the possibilities that are there.
Yeah, and I got to preview some snippets of 2 of the songs.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to say, I'm digging it. It's really different. It seemed to be a lot more laid back, a lot mellower.
Yeah.
I mean, is that the direction you feel like you're going in musically?
I feel like the direction that, well, at least Joe and I always tend to go in is music that makes people have fun, want to drink, and want to enjoy their night out. However that happens. And lyrically, I always want to hope that people can connect, that there's some sort of connection there. Like, I totally get that song because I've been there. That's what all of the musicians, singers, songwriters that I've looked up to have done. You know, right down to people that were in bands with me. Josh Green. Some of his lyrics, you know, they just connect to you. And it's a really cool thing when that happens. And I hope that I do that for other people.
Yeah, and you and Josh both wrote a lot of catchy songs. Very sing along sort of choruses.
Mm-hmm.
Can we expect the same thing from the new band?
Oh yeah. Just the ones that we have now, I think that they're pretty catchy. And they're a lot of fun. I hope people enjoy them because we're having a lot of fun writing them.
Now, when you were with Amnesty, you guys played a lot of shows with a lot of different bands, different types of bands. Are there any bands you guys didn't get to share the stage with that you're really looking forward to sharing the stage with anytime soon?
I always have bands that I want to share the stage with. Thinking back now, it's hard to think of who we did and didn't get to share the stage with. One of the actual new bands that wasn't around when we played with their last incarnation, but the Killer Whales. Would love to play with them. Would love to play with the Pickups. I haven't even gotten to hear them yet. But
they're really good.
Yeah,
really
knowing
good, yeah.
Knowing that at least a couple of the people in that band, I kind of have an idea of the coolness level there. I'd really like to see them as well as play with them. There's just always Resonant. Would love to play with Resonant. Pretty much any band around. That's part of what I love about playing music is it gets you at the shows and seeing other bands. And I have always loved that, and I love it still. So pretty much any band that hits us up, hey, you want to play a show? If we can make that happen, we're going to make it happen because we all enjoy that. I think it would be cool to do a double show with Seven Stone because Chad's in Seven Stone, so it'd be a nice, cool night for him.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think it would be really, pretty sweet to end up playing with the Jelly Bricks. I know they only play one show a year at Cedars, but
they're legendary though.
Yeah, and I've been seeing them since way back when Kinky Boot Beast came out, and yeah, I'd like to be on that bill. if that ever is a possibility.
I actually had I had Lee Boyle on a little bit ago from Third Class.
Yeah.
He wanted me to tell you hi and that he looks forward to playing with your new band.
I look forward to playing with him as well. In Amnesty, we tried to set that up and couldn't quite pull it together. So hi to Lee, and I second that. Very much look forward to that as well.
Yeah, I actually just recently really discovered them. I know they've been together since '99. They've been together a long time. I saw them once in 2007 with Lady Fantastic and didn't hear from them again until recently. He gave me their newest single to review, and they're phenomenal. They really are.
Yeah, I would definitely like to. They're another one. See them and play a show with them. It's really pretty much any band you're going to name is going to be someone I would want to play with, or want to go to more shows of. I honestly love the local scene. I know that occasionally there's been some flack thrown around. I love all of it. I love the whole scene, and say what you will, but that's how I feel.
Oh, yeah, and there's that debate about cover bands versus original bands, but I love them all. I really do. Yeah, Perfect Pair is great. I love those guys. And, there's a ton of great bands around here.
I have no debate because my first live band experience was a cover band called The Works, and I think I was maybe 6 years old.
Wow.
And it was at a birthday party for one of my aunt's friends, and The Works played the birthday party, and my little 6-year-old self danced all night long. I loved the live music and thought it was just awesome. And as far as the originals go, I spent my high school years in the garage watching numerous bands of Joe Sinkovich and my brother come through there, and that whole phase of my life, my teenage years, was when local music really hit me, like local original. The idea that you could just write a song, because honestly, I don't think until that point that I realized that was how it was done, that you could just do it.
Yeah. And you have a son. How old is he?
He'll be 10 in March.
Okay. And his father is also a musician. Is he interested in music at all?
Yeah. Actually, he has a drum set that his dad got him for Christmas. He has a guitar. He has a set of bongos here at the house and a harmonica. Very interested in music and takes to it pretty well. He took guitar lessons for a while earlier in the year. We've kind of paused that up for a little bit, but now he's working on the drums and having a blast with that.
That's awesome. And I've noticed a lot with the children of musicians. It could go either way, really. Either they're really into music just like their parents, or they want nothing to do with it. My oldest, he's almost 7. I was a musician most of my life, and his mother's into theater. He wants nothing to do with any of that. So yeah,
every kid's different, though.
Yeah, so it's really cool that your son is into that as well.
Yeah, I absolutely love that, and I hope that he sticks with it and finds either an instrument that he absolutely loves, or going the route he's going where he just learns to play everything and just enjoys all of it. Is a cool idea too.
Yeah, definitely. And so, Amnesty for Astronauts, you guys were nominated for a few Youngstown Music Awards.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys actually did pretty well in one of the categories, is that right?
Yeah, I think it was like 3rd for Best Original Band, or I think that's what it was.
Best Original Band, I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
And that was a tough category too, because you guys were up against Love Turns Hate, who won that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty awesome. You guys came in 3rd.
Yeah, I was surprised, and I was excited by that too. It just, I think that the YMAs were really fun. At the point when the YMAs happened, everything had just kind of fallen apart because And so then it was like, well, that's where we were, you know, like we were making the climb to kind of, you know, get somewhere. And I don't mean get signed or anything like that, just to get, I don't know, notoriety.
At least get recognized on the local scene, right?
More, recognized for how just crazy we were, and for the songs that we wrote, and for how much fun we had doing it. And you know, like
sometimes crazy doesn't even begin to describe that band, because we all remember that infamous show at Uncle Sill's.
Yeah, Uncle Sill's was a ball. Oh my goodness.
That probably ranks in my top 5 of favorite local shows of all time. That was a good time for sure.
Yeah, I definitely agree. That was a fun night.
So
I think all of them were fun.
You guys have any idea what you're going to call this new band yet? Any names you guys are kicking around yet?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we've had a couple names. I'm hoping that the one that we came up with this past weekend sticks, but I'm not gonna tell you that one.
Oh, no previews.
and the other top runner. I will tell you one that I suggested that didn't fly. Was Lady B and the Drunken Three.
Oh, that would have fit.
Or the Drunken Sailors at the end of that, because Lady Bly is like the generic version of Captain Morgan.
Yeah.
And so I kind of thought it was hilarious because last name is Byerly, starts with a B.
Yeah.
You know, and as you know, we all do some drinking when we play. So
I think everyone is really looking forward to the name release too, because Joe has always been in bands that have had really creative names like Abnormal Psych, Slander, Moral Dilemma, and of course Amnesty For Astronauts. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we're waiting for something really creative from you guys.
Oh, you guys might be just insanely laughing your heads off. Creative, yes.
You guys are playing the name game suspense though, like Resonant did.
We're not doing it intentionally. It's more just a making the actual decision of like, this is who we are.
Yeah.
You know, but I assure you that if we go with the name that was brought up on Sunday, I think that you'll enjoy the creativity, but you'll also laugh a whole lot.
Oh, I look forward to it. I really do. So, how much different is it now for you being the only singer this time around?
It's different. I miss the harmony aspect to it. I really liked doing that. In addition to, singing solo. But I really like it. That's how Abnormal Psych worked. I was it. I was the only singer. So it's just kind of going back to that and just, running with that.
Well, we all definitely look forward to it. Am I going to see you out this Saturday at Chippers?
I hope so. I am hopeful that we will be out this weekend and checking out some shows. I believe we are kid-free this weekend, so it's likely to happen.
Well, if I see you guys out, I owe you each a beer.
Fantastic. We owe you one, too.
All right, well, I got to wrap this up. It was great talking to you, Aly. I look forward to seeing you this weekend, and best of luck with you guys in the band.
Thank you so much, Brandon. It's been a blast.
All right, I will talk to you later.
All right, have a good night.
All right, you too. Bye.
Bye.
Will you help me understand? I did my best to hold your hand. You're so difficult and I can't take it. You bring me in to shut me out. You didn't have to scream so loud. This is a product of a life well wasted. Cover up where you have been. I can see right through your helplessness. Do your real life.
great interview there with Aly Byerly. I really look forward to hearing the new project that her and Joe are working on. Might have to swing by one of their practices sometime here real soon, let you guys know what they're working with over there. And as always, I would like to thank my guests for coming on the show this week. Ryan Ross of Ryan Ross and the Youngstown Syndicate, Mike Ezzo of Woodside Manor, Lee Boyle of Third Class, and of course, Aly Byerly, formerly of Amnesty For Astronauts. I wish I knew the name of their new project. They don't really have one yet, so I will definitely be plugging that whenever they get a name and start doing shows and whatnot. And don't forget to tune in next week. We will have live in studio Panty Droppin' Rock Brigade, which features former members of Rounding Third and Sarah Laughs. I really look forward to seeing that. Those guys have been off the scene for quite a few years, so it's really exciting to have those guys back in the realm of local music. So definitely stay tuned for that one. Next week we will also have the Scenic Route live in studio, so we'll be getting to talk to several members of both bands, which is really cool. And we'll have some in-studio acoustic performances as well, so I definitely look forward to that one as well. Also, next week, I was going to keep this one a bit of a secret until the show aired, but I think I'm gonna drop this one for you guys right now. Next week, we will also have Jay Smith on the phone. Now, for some of you, that name may or may not sound familiar. Jay Smith did some time at the end of the 90s playing with a band called Sift. Of course, everyone knows they played on MTV for the Korn Cover Band Contest in 1999, contest in which they won performing a cover of Korn's Blind. And he also played with Pale there for a while, too. He was the lead singer of both those bands. We're going to talk to him. He really hasn't been active in the local music scene for a while. He's looking to make a comeback here real soon, so we're going to talk about what he's been up to these past few years and what he has in store for the future. So I'm very excited to have Jay on the show next week. And in 2 weeks, we have a very, very special episode for you guys with a very, very special guest. On the phone, we will have Vinny Dombrowski. He is best known as the lead singer for Sponge. Prior to Sponge, he was in a band called Loud House, and several years back, he had the grunge supergroup Spies for Darwin. So we're going to talk a little bit about Sponge, Loud House, and Spies for Darwin. And we're going to just get to know Vinny a little bit better, talk about what Sponge has been up to. For those of you who don't know, the band is actually still around, and they're still making music, still touring and everything. They're actually going to be in Cleveland in March, and you'll be able to catch me at that show. I will be there for sure. So it's very exciting to have Vinny on the show. He was actually one of my vocal influences as a teenager. Always a huge Sponge fan. I try to see them every time they're in town. I've seen them numerous times in Youngstown, numerous times in Cleveland as well. And it's actually kind of cool because Sponge actually got their start in Cleveland, even though they're more of a Detroit-based band. And they've always been real supportive of the local scene in northeastern Ohio. Always have local openers. I know I've seen them at Peabody's a few times, and they've had like 10, 15 bands opening up for them, all local bands, which is fantastic. So maybe I'll talk to him a little bit about some of the bands that he's played with in Cleveland, if he remembers some of them. I know they tour a lot, play with a lot of different bands. And something that I'm working on for the future, as you've noticed, there is a bit of a back and forth on this show of discussions about local bands, covers versus originals. And of course, we're talking about bands that play primarily original songs versus bands that play nothing but covers. And of course, several weeks ago, we had Hollywood on the show. And he, of course, was talking about the whole cover versus original thing. And last week we had Michael Kermick. He discussed it as well. This week we had Ryan Ross and Mike Ezzo, who both talked about the situation. So what I have decided that I want to do, I would like to get together a roundtable discussion group for this show and finally put an end to all of this. I am calling upon Michael Kermick, best known for being the guitar player in Perfect Pair and the founder of the Youngstown Music Awards, Rick Earnhardt, formerly of the Youngstown Vegas Band, and someone who also was very helpful with Michael Kermick during the Youngstown Music Awards, Mike Ezzo of Woodside Manor, Hollywood from Awaken is One, Ryan Ross of Ryan Ross and the Youngstown Syndicate, and Joe Carbon, formerly of Amnesty For Astronauts. I would like to get all of us together to discuss the ongoing debate of cover bands versus original bands. This is something that I'm working on for the future. I've got most of these guys down to do this, so we're just working on setting up a date, time, and location, and we're going to get it done here, hopefully within the next month. I'm really looking forward to doing this to finally put an end to this debate. So that's definitely something to look for very, very soon. All right, so we are just about out of time. If you would like to keep in touch with us in between shows, head on over to Facebook, look up Brandyn Chaos. That is BrandynChaos. Also, go ahead and check out the Chaos Culture Entertainment page as well as the Macabre Fest page. We're going to be posting updates from both of those pages concerning the upcoming Macabre Fest Music and Art Festival. So definitely look out for that. There's going to be some big announcements hopefully dropping very, very soon. Also, head on over to the Facebook page for the Midnight Hour with Brandyn Chaos. Go ahead and give that a like as well. And you could also find me on Twitter and Instagram. It's at Brandyn_Chaos, BRANDYN_CHAOS. And until next week, you have been listening to the Midnight Hour, and I was your host, Brandyn Chaos. And to play us out this week, we're going to go for a little bit of Amnesty For Astronauts, and the song is called Counting Sheep.
When it's over, I can sleep.